I worked with every artist on good music other than Kanye West.
Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi.
Are you serious?
Me and Kid Cudi actually were working on the record for Vizzy Zone.
You did not tell me this.
Yeah, we were on tour together. Me, Kid Cudi, and the Clips. I got signed in a hotel room with Big Sean and Chitty Bang. So me, Big Sean, Chitty Bang have a show. After the show, I'm like, yo, what y'all doing? Yo, let's go to the hotel and play music. I got my email from Warner that night. They're like, hey, this is so-and-so. We found you tonight and we're amazed by your mixtape. We want to sign you. Big Sean called me. He was the first one to call me. He was like, yo, where you at? I'm like, at home. He was like, oh, you ain't in New York? We all out here for the XXL thing. So I figured you would be out here.
Damn.
And I go, nuh-uh. You know, this is second XXL freshman. This is the one I want to make. Oh, I'm hot. I should have been on there. That's what created my beef with XXL. So, South by Southwest, Kendrick comes and gives me a dap, and he said in my ear, yo, they you with that XXL freshman cover. And then when we came out, I was like, man, I know. And he's like, if there's anything I can do, bro, I got you. And I was like, I need that verse. We still locked in on the handshake, like, nah, I need that verse. And he's like, I got you, let me know.
How many weeks later?
A few weeks later, because that's March. Yeah. Zero Heroes came out April 15th. Mind you, when I got a deal, they told me, literally, verbatim, Todd Moskowitz, you're gonna be our next Kid Cudi. Those were his words. So I knew right when he said that, I was like, uh-oh, expectations. You feel me? And like, I talk about us losing the house. You know, I got a house once I got my deal. Once I left Warner, I lost that house. You feel me?
Really?
Yeah.
Like that quick?
That quick. Literally, the day I got my check, my house got broken into. And when I say broken into, stole everything.
I had no idea you guys were dealing with that.
Yeah. 2 people, Nipsey Hussle and Mac Miller. The only dudes who checked on me during my break. Like, checked on me. I didn't hit them. They didn't reach out, hit me. Like, yo, how you doing? Out of nowhere. I still got the messages on my Twitter.
I believe you, bro.
But it's just, it blows my mind.
Back in 2014, he reached out?
Yeah, 2014, 2015.
What was that like, man? Talking to Nipsey Hussle and him pretty much vouching for you?
Bro, he wanted to sign me. He wanted to sign me.
Fully connected. Hey, real quick, guys, before we get started with the episode, I just want to say thank you for clicking on this video. I realize the majority of people who watch this podcast haven't yet subscribed to the podcast. So take that time right now to hit that subscribe button and to smash that like button. I really appreciate the support. Now let's get back to the episode. Yeah. Welcome back to the Fully Connected Podcast, your go-to destination for inspirational conversations to help you become your greatest version. I am your host, Chris Jones, licensed therapist and owner of Fully Connected Counseling. Today we have a special guest. He's a multi-talented artist and a hip-hop legend. He's a rapper, writer, producer, and was signed to Warner Bros. Music Group in 2010, a year after dropping one of his most popular mixtapes, Everybody's Nobody. Right? He has released several critically acclaimed projects and has collaborated with some of the biggest names in the game, from Just Blaze, Consequence, Big Sean, Bun B, Pusha T, Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, J.Cole, Lil Wayne, and even Kendrick Lamar. Man, this guy has done it all, right? He's one of the only hip-hop artists in Wichita to get signed to a major label, right? He has had tracks on TV commercials. He has songs on video games like NBA 2K11. This man is a true inspiration and a musical genius. I also had the pleasure to be able to collaborate him and produce a project, a 6-track project called Water, back in 2023, now available on iTunes, right? But without further ado, let's please welcome the square himself, the kid with the green backpack, right? X to the V.
Hey, welcome.
X to the V, Vizzy, man.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Bro, what's going on, man? I feel like I had to, give you that proper introduction.
I thank you.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes when you're saying those names that I've worked with,
yeah, bro,
my heart smiles. My heart smiles because I'm like, never, I've always wanted to do this. I've been wanting to do this since I was 15 years old. I've been wanting to do this when I was 12. But to come up and you know, have the battles I've had, have the triumphs that I've had, have the career I've had, and to hear those names, right. You know, Bun B,
bro,
that's
Pusha
crazy
T.
to me. Pusha T.
Man, it's crazy, you know, because so many Wayne. People who were in Wichita who don't know who you are, it frustrates me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, how do you not know
that's
XV?
That's gotta be crazy.
I'm like, you know, especially like with some of the kids I work with, I'm like, you don't know who XV is? But then again, they're from a different generation.
Yep, 100%.
It's just like, you did so much for the city, but then at the same time for just like hip hop culture. Like, right. I remember even going to your house and like you showed me a track you did with Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
I'm Unreleased.
Just holding on.
And he messaged you saying like he was a fan. Like people don't even know.
A lot of people don't know. You know,
it's crazy.
Some of the behind the scenes. That's why when you say those names, it reminds me because some of those behind the scenes things that happen. Yeah. Even my boy Freddie High, he always tells me like, X, you don't realize how much of a legend you are. Like you just got off the phone with Jack Harlow. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I don't look at it like that, but I'm like, I guess that's crazy, you know? Now I see him on at the Kentucky Derby with Drake, and I'm like, oh, I guess it is crazy.
Are you his ghostwriter?
You know, I'm pinning a little son. He throwing them in the trash like that, but I'm pinning them though. I'm pinning them though.
Right. That's just super dope, bro. Because like even like somebody like that who's been inspired by you, like I'm curious too, like the other artists that I might not even know of that you've worked with that other people might not know. If you could be able to share that too.
Man, there's a few like especially like when you say names like Consequence. Yeah. I've worked with artists like I did a record with Rhyme Fest. Right. I worked with every artist on good music other than Kanye West.
Kid Cudi.
Are
you serious?
Worked with Kid Cudi. Me and Kid Cudi actually were working on the record for Vizzy Zone. It just, to be honest, a lot of times, and this happens a lot.
You did not tell me this. You and Kid Cudi.
Yeah, we were on tour together. Me, Kid Cudi, and the Clips. It was actually the Clips' last tour they've ever did together. I saw like them ending, you know, not like breaking up, but I saw when Pusha started working with Kanye, he flew out while we were on tour to Hawaii for the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So you can kind of imagine this is around 2009, 2010, right before Kanye started doing Good Friday, which was huge on the blogs.
Man, that was huge.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I realized.
Christian Dior.
Yeah, Kid Cudi about to be out of here. That's why I was like, oh, he was already out of here in 2009 when he was on like Blueprint 3 and all that. But I was like, oh, he's out of here.
So what happened? Why didn't he get on Vizzy Zone?
Really, it was a few things. It was really the main reason was he got too big. Like once like Vizzy Zone was a mixtape and it was coming out already. We were hyping it, we were promoting it. It actually had a Kid Cudi. It came from Cudi Zone.
You had the Cudi Zone beat.
Had the Cudi Zone beat. Yeah. So that's where the connection came. And then we went on tour together and he was like, you know, me and Chip the Ripper hella tight. Chip the Ripper, that's my bro. Yeah.
Y'all got a track together?
We haven't did a track together. No, I'm sorry. We did do a track together.
This dude has done tracks for everybody.
Me and Charles Hamilton. There's certain people.
Charles Hamilton.
Yeah, me and Charles Hamilton did a whole mixtape together. A whole mixtape called Sonic vs. Mario. Because he was like, because we were
y'all were beefing. Was it? But it was like staged.
It was not staged at first. At first, it wasn't staged. And if you listen to the Nevermind remix, he's actually shooting shots at me.
I feel like he'd be like Kirby because he's always pink.
Kirby, and so it's crazy. Kirby, I rapped about Charles. Go listen to my song 40 Days, 40 Nights, Kirby. I sent a shot at Kirby. I was at Kirby, at Charles Hamilton on that. It's a song with FKI. Wild. You know, but yeah, me and Charles.
FKI?
Yeah, FKI is on that record. Oh, wow. Yeah. And FKI first, actually, me and him did a few records. Like, I think the thing about me is I'm a very opportunist. I'm a very open person, like open-minded. So there's never an idea that somebody would come with me and I'm like, nah, that don't fit me. I'm gonna at least try it.
And so I'm curious about like, how did you get production from the Neptunes? Like when you were doing 40 Days, 40 Nights, you had like Pharrell beats. I'm just like, how does this guy?
So that was funny is that's actually one of the things that drew Seven, Mike Summers, my producer, to me. Is I gave him a mixtape and had Little John beats, had Scott Storch beats,
the game
had
drops,
everything, right? Yep. He heard that and was like, how are you doing this? So let me tell you.
This is before ChatGPT.
Yeah, this is way before ChatGPT. This is before AI. So he's like,
goodness,
how are you doing this? And I'm like, bro, I got a lot of industry connects. So at the time, and I've always been this way, I used to try to get a deal so bad that I would send out my album and I would send out my demo. I would send out whatever.
The press kits, all that.
To every A&R I could find. I used to buy music directories. And in those music directories, they would tell you the A&R, the floor they're on, and how to email them or mail them. I would email them to solicit it. To get it solicited, so that they were like, okay with me sending it. But as soon as they would give me that okay, boom. So where I would win is I was a producer as well. So I would send them my music, but I also would say, hey, I make beats. That's where I got in.
Kanye approach.
That's where I got in. And so they would be like, your raps are cool, but like, look, Gucci Mane wants some beats. Trey Songz wants some beats. Sharifa wants some beats. So-and-so wants some beats. Can you send me a pack? And back then, like, producers weren't making beats like I was. It was now, a lot of producers.
Kingsman production, bro.
Yeah, I was making 300 beats a month.
So were those, because at first I thought, because those were mostly all your beats.
Yeah, all
like
me.
Seven was doing some of them, but
but it was all me. It was all me. Seven came in once I showed him. I'm like, yo, you could be making a little bit of extra bread just giving me some of those beats and me putting them up on my site.
And this was before type beats.
Yeah, way before. I
remember because I bought. This is the crazy story because I bought beats. Like, bro, we bought like 14 beats.
See,
we bought 14 beats. I remember I had to hit up Kashia because I was like, where are these beats at?
Chitty bought his first beat, Chitty Bang, from me
on Kingsman
Productions. That's how we met. I did a show at South by Southwest.
Let's tell people what Kingsman Production was. Like, it was. Yeah. Let me see if I can explain it.
Give them a backdrop.
It was pretty much it was a website, and it had like Dirty South type beats, West Coast.
Had different
East
genres.
Coast. What was another genre?
We had Dirty South Club and Radio, R&B and urban. And they pretty much just basically had the whole spectrum of hip hop on the site. Easily over 1,000 beats, easily. Because I would do 300 beat updates. I would be like, yo, Seven, I'm locking in this month. I'm doing a 300 beat update. And he'd be like, oh, here he goes.
How much were you making a month?
Oh, I was making like easily like 8,000 was my like bottom. A month? Like a month. Yep. So that's how I didn't need a deal for so long.
Yeah, that's where you were getting the money.
Yes. That's where I was getting money to shoot videos. That's where I was getting money to go out to New York. Like, they would send me, hey, we have a showcase. Can you do? Yo, Seven is going to cost us $500, but let's go ahead and book a ticket. And I would just sell beats. And I was just selling beats. So much so, like you said, you had to find me. So much so that I was still selling beats when I got a deal. I was on tour with Fall Out Boy, and it was hitting me like, yo, where's my track outs? And I'm like, I'm not going to be home for another week or 2 weeks, so I can't track it out yet. Like, that's when I realized, like, I'm not going to be able to do this for much longer. But Kingsman Productions it started out on mp3.com, and it started out as pretty much kind of like what BeatStars
right. Yeah, but that's a good word.
mp3.com was for all music. It wasn't just beats like BeatStars. It was for people who had songs. So I was like, these are artists all on here. Let me start putting beats up. And other producers did the same thing. There's a few legends, Deeper Era. Shout out to Deeper Era. One of the dopest production names ever, because his name was Dwayne Pereira. So he named his company Deeper Era.
Dope. So I know one thing. I remember like speaking to you like through like MySpace and stuff way back in the day. Like you said, you went to the Puerto Rican Day Parade, passing out CDs.
Yes.
And you told me you want to pass out the CD like a flyer.
Yep.
Instead of like trying to like pay for it.
Yeah, because that was the thing in 2002, and this came from the 90s. But once that like Dirty South era came out, because in the 90s it was the West Coast that did the CDs out the trunk. But once 99 and Master P and Cash Money started blowing up, the word out the trunk started blowing up, right? So all rappers that were independent in the monument of independence at that time was Master P, Cash Money. I think that was it. There wasn't even a Strange Music to base it off of yet. It was only those two models. What they did was sell out the trunk. So rappers like me, what we thought was the way to do it was pop that trunk open, put a bunch of CDs in there. And basically the reason why rappers did it was because they were spending well over $1,500 to get those CDs pressed.
Right.
So in their mind, they're thinking, hustler, I bought $1,500 worth of work. Let me go out here and sell it for this price. But as a music fan and a music marketer, I looked at it like, when I'm out on the streets, if I'm willing to pay money for a CD, but if somebody came up to me and said, yo, this is the dopest new hip hop you would ever hear, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Here. And just handed it to me, I'm definitely going to listen.
Right.
And if it is what he says it is, I actually might become a fan. No promises, but I might start checking you out. So I looked at it like that. Like if I go to, and I did a lot of handouts at the mall. And I would do them at the mall, townies.
All-Star Weekend, you even went out to All-Star Weekend.
But the reason I did those is because in Wichita, a lot of times I would see those CDs on the floor once we were walking out the mall. We would hand them out inside the mall, but then we would walk out the mall. And of course that happens everywhere. But it was a maddening number to me of CDs on the floor.
Let's talk about like just that for a second, because I remember when you performed at the Hartman Arena back in 2010.
Yep.
Crazy to think that J.Cole and you were opening up for Plies.
Plies and New Boys.
And New Boys.
Yeah.
And like where they are now.
Yeah.
But you said something that stuck with me. You said J.Cole said, hey, don't worry, they do the same thing in my city.
Yep.
And he was referring to the fact that, you just got signed to Warner Bros. And the Wichita crowd really, it was just like me and Deontay standing up.
Just looking at us.
I'll
never forget it. I'll never forget it because two things. The reason I'll never forget it, for one, because it was a J. Cole show, but and that's crazy to me. When I got up on that stage, they didn't turn out none of the lights. So imagine like
Right. I noticed that.
Yeah, when the movie starts, the lights go down.
Right. The lights
were still on. I'm like, what? I'm the previews. You know what I mean? So it made me really upset. So I'll never forget that. I was like, yo, I remember being on side stage like, are they going to turn the lights down? They're going to turn the lights down? And I'm thinking, this ain't like when I was opening for Mike Jones and Paul Wall at Cotillion. I went through that gauntlet already. Like, I'm signed now. That dude on stage, J. Cole, I did a freestyle with last year.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm looking at myself totally different, but Wichita still sees me as a local artist. And so when I got up on that stage and I realized, I'm like, not only does this radio station who's putting me up on this stage sees me as a local artist, they're not even giving me the courtesy of treating me like the first signed rapper from Wichita ever. They're not even giving me that courtesy. To this day.
Still to this day.
Which is crazy because I got signed in 2010. It's 14 years later. And I tell Jack Harlow that all the time. I'm like, you got to understand that it's got to be a blessing to be where you're from. And you have Bryson Tiller and ESTG. Oh, yeah. You
still talk to Jack Harlow?
To this day. I'm not going to ask him for nothing. I'm not going to ask him for nothing. Because he was a Squarian. Like, no, that's the realest shit
crazy,
ever.
Bro.
When I hit him, he was like, bro, this is dope getting a message from you because I grew up on you. And
that's what he said.
Yeah. And there's nothing like weird about that to me because you grew up on me. And so many other fans hit me and go, yo, bro, like I got a message today said, yo, your album is crazy. I listened to your first album when I was in high school. I'm 30 years old now. That's crazy to me.
But it's so real though.
And that's so real.
I remember the first day it was my brother's friend. His name was Vance, and he was on the computer downstairs. It was like royaltycity.com. I was like, what's this? He's like, oh, these people are from here.
That's crazy.
And I was just like, I'm like, what?
Yep.
And I remember going to the website and then looking at the bio and it said like your birthday and all this stuff. And I'm just like, he got the same birthday as Bryce. I'm just like, these dudes from here?
That's crazy.
And I was like, it went from there. I was like, wow. I was like, man, if they can do it, I was like, I can do it.
And
that was the inspiration. It was like royalty. Like you guys had the website was just like, it looked like so professional back then.
That's the word I was always after.
All that stuff, man. But I want to go back to what J. Cole told you, because after you did that performance, you go backstage. What were the words exactly like that he said to you?
So it wasn't even backstage. I performed, and after I got off stage, I went to the side and kind of into the crowd area and chilled out there with my team. And then J. Cole came out right after me. And the fact that J. Cole was after me is insane. But J. Cole comes out after me, and he goes up and does his thing. This is when he has Workout out at the time. So he's not small. This ain't like Mixtape. This ain't Friday Night Lights show. J.
He had
Cole.
the Simba track.
This is Simba, but he had Workout. He was promoting his album at this point. So he's like a pretty big artist. He still goes after me. And
Who That? I mean,
Who That? That's what it was. Yes, yep. Lights Go Down. You know what I mean? They show him a lot more. Put it like this: they treat him like he ain't from here. I'll say that.
Right, with more respect.
He saw it. You know what I mean? So when he got off stage, he walks up to me, and I'm still over there on the side, and he daps me up. I introduce him to my cousin, who's a publicist. And I'm like, yo, meet my cousin. She's a publicist. Y'all should work sometime. So he's like, man, bro. He's like, this your hometown? This is crazy. I was like, yeah, but you see how they do me. And he's like, man, that's nothing. They do the same thing in my hometown. And like I said, this is when he's pretty big. But the fact that he said that, I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, bro, this place reminds me a lot of where I'm from. And I could imagine, because small town,
and that's how y'all came up with Smallville.
That's what we came up with.
Small and then Ville.
Yeah,
right? Is that how it was, right?
Yeah, because I'm like, we're both from small town. Like, for real. Yep. He went out to the club with my cousin that I introduced him to. He was like, yo, I want to get out.
J.Cole went to the club in Wichita?
Here. Yeah, he went to Doc Howard's.
No way.
Yeah.
J.Cole was in Doc Howard's.
Doc Howard's posted up. Nobody knew who he was. But he was crazy. Tall, light-skinned dude on the wall,
J.Cole was loved at Doc Howard.
Loved it. He was like, I don't know if you realize, but Wichita does play like dated music in the club. You know what I mean? Like, we thrive off throwbacks.
Absolutely.
So when he's in the club, he's like, bro, this remind me of Fayetteville for real. He thanked me the next day because he was like, yo, I sent my cousin, because I told him at that time, like, I don't go out. Like, I definitely don't go out. I'm definitely not going out tonight. I'm like, I'm annoyed. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I ain't going out.
What do you think it was? Why you never wanted to go out? Because I noticed that, because like the first time me actually seeing you was when you performed like at Rock Island. I saw you once like at the mall, and then the Hartman Arena. I would be listening to the music like, this guy's from here, but I never seen
me. Yeah. I actually would do that low-key kind of on purpose. You know what I mean? I always looked at it like, the more I make myself, for one, available for the music, but make myself obscure from the scene. You know what I mean? If I make myself obscure from the scene, it will make me feel like I'm other while I'm still here. And I was able to live like other while still here, to the point that, like what you just said, people would literally say to me, hey, X, when are you going to be in town? We need to link. And I'm like, I live here. What do you I get that to this day.
Do you think that backfired?
No.
Okay.
Because I was never looking for
the Wichita.
Yes.
Right.
Like, I was never looking for Wichita to give me that validation.
Because see, I feel like, when we talked about like the hip hop classes, as you said, like, because J. Cole had Fayetteville, Big Sean had Detroit, Mac Miller had, and Wiz Khalifa, they had Pittsburgh, Wale had DC, XV had Wichita. And so it's like, I feel like if you were from anywhere else, bro, like, do you feel that way? Like, if you were from LA or even Chicago?
100%. I think that now, if
it's frustrating, bro.
I'm not going out in Chicago, if I'm not going out in Manhattan or Brooklyn, or if I'm not going out in LA, that's a problem. Because I know people who have made it big without having to be in the social scene. But like, that's kind of what I looked at as what I had to sacrifice. I had to sacrifice not going out here so I could fly to New York and fly to LA and fly to Chicago and fly to Atlanta, and like, basically not lay a foundation, because that's what makes people want to move there, but basically make my presence known.
How often were you going out of town?
When I say, we were probably going out to New York every month.
This was back in 2007?
This is probably like 2007, 2008, like, or even before that, because we released Complex in 2006, and we got that mastered in New York. We got that.
Know where to go.
We just watched the hip hop game. We like, all right, where's Rockefeller Records? Where's Bad Boy Records?
Man, you guys,
where's Warner? oh, it's on 6th. All these are on 6th Ave. Let's just go to 6th Ave.
It reminds me of the Kanye documentary when he's just like in the Rockefeller Records, just playing the tracks. That was
when I watched the Yeezus documentary. Like, I have all of those types of tapes on me.
Absolutely.
I have all of those tapes.
Royalty City DVD.
Yeah, Royalty City DVD. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I was putting out my own DVDs, you know, that's like right. Complexity, Royalty City. I was putting out my own DVDs with behind the scenes footage of me touring and doing shows and handing out flyers. That was before the blogs. You feel me? So the blogs like just before YouTube. Yeah. I was editing with like Windows Media Maker.
Bro, what kind of genetics? Like what kind of gene?
My dad, my mom and like, my dad, bro.
What is this? It's almost like, I don't know how to describe it, because even when I first went to your house, like you said you downloaded every hip hop album.
Everyone. And then organized them. To this day, like I just listened to Crazy Bones 1999, Thug Mentality 1999 yesterday, and I just realized it wasn't on any streaming services, probably because the 90s, it was crazy. Samples, just the contracts that were probably done in the 90s is why you don't get a lot of music. I could only imagine, because it's the same thing with my mixtape era.
So was that like when you went through that phase of downloading all the hip hop, was that like when you took the break?
Oh yeah.
Because the break
was like 2014.
The break was right when LeBron left Miami.
Yes. Left, not left Miami. Yes, left Miami. Yes.
And that's when you left Warner.
He won while I was on Warner. Yep. Because my Bulls were losing.
Man, D Rose just retired.
Yes, but me and LeBron the same age. That's why I always looked at him. Like we're the same age. We're both born in '85. We both graduated 2003. And so when he was leaving Miami and I was leaving Warner, I don't know. I feel like a big part of my break came from me always, and this was a big misstep for me. Always comparing myself, not only to people I shouldn't even be comparing myself to, but just comparing. I remember so many times on Warner just arguing with them and being like, so-and-so doesn't do this. So-and-so has this. Someone, like, you know what I mean? Like,
you talk to the CEO?
Yeah, CEO, the A&R, the manager. I literally have emails of me being like, no, I'm not doing that, because so-and-so would never do that.
Big Sean's not doing this.
Yeah, Big Sean's not doing that. Big Sean's not doing that.
And they want you to do what Mac Miller, not Mac Miller, but Macklemore.
Yeah, Macklemore. They want me to be this person. I'm like, nah, because so-and-so's not doing that. So it always created this like comparison gene in me that I kind of like took with me to my break. And so during my break, I'm watching and I'm looking at Derrick Rose is hurt. LeBron's, going back to Cleveland. I'm like,
crazy.
A shift is happening. I can feel it.
All that time, 2008 to 2012, there was a big shift. Just all together in the world, Obama.
Yeah. I feel like every 4 years. That's why I feel like the presidencies happen in 4 years. I don't know what it is, but I feel like
the 4 is that cosmic number.
4 is that cosmic number. It is. Mm-hmm. It's a cosmic number.
It's the building block right there.
It's the building block. And that's literally the building block. Square is so like close to me because of the 4.
It's crazy, bro. And so it's just like you said, D Rose got hurt and all those things. Like, because for me, it was kind of like, man, if XV makes it, I'm gonna make it, because I was making beats, and so like low key, like I got depressed when I found out,
and I feel like
you didn't. Like, so I'm just thinking like, right, I got depressed, man. Like I stopped doing music, bro, and I'm just like, I'm thinking like, how can he be feeling like seeing like Big Sean and all these people, all your peers, now where they are, bro? Like, if you don't mind, like maybe just even sharing about just like the mental side of that, bro, because for me, it affected me. Yeah, but like for you
could only imagine. Bro. Yeah, so I feel like the darkest part of my like break was probably because I went through a lot of different like lows after I took my break. Because I took my break in 2013. I took a break, right?
After Popular Culture.
Yeah, right after Popular Culture. And the reason I did that was because Warner was already going through a shift, but while they were going through that shift, they didn't know what to do with me, right? And I was fearful that if I keep on dropping music, they will hold on to me. And I didn't want them to hold on to me no more.
Why not?
Like, I wanted to leave Warner. But I wanted to leave Warner without getting dropped. And I wanted to leave Warner without, like, me asking to get off because of contract stipulations. There was basically a contract stipulation that if I left Warner without any of these other issues and I didn't release an album, I would be able to leave with all of my rights. Like, they would hold on to the songs they released, but no matter what, all the music I made on Warner would still be mine.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I looked at it like this. I said, when I got signed, if you all sign me now, I make a lot of music. I don't want you all to have rights to everything I make if y'all aren't helping me with everything I make. I can do all of that on my own. I want y'all to help me make myself bigger. But if you all do that, I feel like that's what you all should get cuts of, not stuff that I've done without y'all and for all these years.
So what was like their real reason to why they dropped you?
Well, the real reason why is because they didn't even know who the fuck I was by the time I said it's time for me to leave. Because what happened was Warner was going through a shift. So new president, new A&Rs, new regime. While they went through that shift, if you could probably even remember this because Maybach Music went from Warner to Atlantic. And that was part of that shift. They left Warner for Atlantic because the people who signed them to Warner left Warner and moved to Atlantic. And same with a lot of people who signed me. So next thing I know,
like I wake
up.
Management almost.
Yeah, basically I wake up, I'm on Atlantic. They're like I emailed Warner like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, who are you? Like who are you? Like, hey, if somebody, like, imagine walking into a place that you work at, but you haven't been there in 7 months. And you walk in and you have your badge and you're like, yo, I just came to talk to the boss real quick. I'm turning in my badge today. And they're like, this badge works, but who are you? They're like, I work upstairs. And like, so they start calling people. Hey, do y'all know who this is? And they're like, oh, yo, you're on Atlantic now. Wow. You need to go talk to them. Wow. And so then they put me on an email with Atlantic, and they're like,
it's like the gate change.
Yeah, 100%, like a complete gate change. And you're like, oh, you're sitting at the wrong gate. You're over there.
Like nobody told me.
I'm like, all right. So I get there. I'm like, what the? So what's going on here? They're like, what's going on? What do you need? So I'm like, I want to leave Atlantic. Like, I want to leave the label. Blah blah blah. They're like, okay. Here's your papers. Literally like that. Like, I had a lawyer who did all my work. So this is not as direct as it sounds right now, but I'm hitting my lawyer like, they say I'm on Atlantic now. And he's like, oh my God, let me find out what's happening. So he's, sending emails and sending it, just trying to figure out what's happened. And then once he finds out, he's like, hey, you're on Atlantic now.
So weird.
We're going to get you off of there. And literally, like, probably by the end of the night, I had walking papers, literally a paper that would, a simple paper, like you are no longer signed here, period. And that happened in August of 2013.
Of 2013.
I was like, breathe, right? And then 2014 comes around and March Madness happens.
Right.
And so that's kind of like, I'm like, okay,
everyday life.
Yeah, here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity for me to pretty much, this is the opportunity for me to break through. Like, without Warner, I could break through blogs. But you got to remember, it's 10 years ago. But 2014, the music scene was totally different. It was changing.
Can we talk about that shift? Because I think even on the March Madness, is everyday life. You said, let me see if I remember this. You said something about, you said when music went trapped, I feel trapped. So I wrote a script called Caged. Something like that, but it was like when music went trapped, I felt trapped.
Yep.
And when do you feel like trap became? Was that 2011?
End of 2012.
End of 2012. That's when it became popular.
Chief Keef was the catalyst.
Lil B.
I'll never forget. Lil B was starting it, but Lil B still had this hip hop like nuance, this hip hop amateurness, that made it hip hop, right? Trap had this polish to it. It had this Cadillac polish. It looked clean, but it was grimy and dirty. And it was it's something that Seven talked about when we were working on Blog Era. I never thought about. He was like, it's very like drawn out. Like, if you think about Fruity Loops, how you draw out the notes. Trap is very drawn out, and like Seven's very swingy and off the mark, and like just swing. He comes up on hip hop, and hip hop was a little off the grid. Right. You know what I mean? it's right on the grid with trap. And I felt like when it became that, I felt trapped. Like,
so like you're saying, I'm thinking like as producer wise, like just it was literally on the grid. Like it wasn't like
no, you're not gonna put no swing
digital
on a trap,
ties, right?
Yeah, it's all digitized. And then you think about after Chief Keef blew up, the producers of that sound blew up. And then you get the South Sides. I mean, literally the producers that blew up during that time are the producers of today.
And so do you feel like that's what affected you having to leave Warner Bros?
I mean,
because I remember when I first asked you, you said they pretty much wanted me to be like Gucci Mane.
Yeah, well, all right, they changed me to a bunch of people. They wanted me to be like Gucci. They wanted me to be like Gucci was the beginning because I was like XXL.
Right.
Then
is that what that Trade the Truth track was all about?
No, the Trade the Truth track actually came about because they wanted me to do
street stuff.
No, not street stuff. They wanted me to do my sound with street artists.
Like
that's
Kanye.
That's where you get Trade the Truth. That's where you get Pusha T. That's where you get Pusha T was all Warner. I was working with Clips, but they were like, yo, we should get Pusha T on the record. Because they look at Pusha T as like the middle ground. He's a cocaine rapper.
He's a
cocaine rapper. But he's on tour with Kanye. And he's on Runaway with Kanye.
Right.
So maybe that's what you need. And so that's where Pusha T really came from. Joie IE. My man, Joie IE. Joie IE, real, like, mafia. He's actually the dude who signed J.Cole to Interscope. But real mafia vibes. Like, real gangster. Yeah, real gangster vibes. I won't even say mafia. Gangster vibes. But Joie IE, he's literally in a barber chair. Like, no, maybe it was just like his office chair. And he got the barber thing on. And he's bald. Feel me? He's getting the Dame Dash. Remember when Dame Dash was getting done on the backstage and he was yelling at Kevin Lyles? I don't know if you remember that. I'm a huge Rockefeller fan, so this is like
I don't remember too much
ingrained memory for me. But go back. He's yelling at Kevin Lyles. He has on the and this is fat Kevin Lyles, so it was so long ago. He has on the barber, what is it? Dress and you have to remember Dame Dash ball, bro. And this man's taking easily, he's yelling at Kevin Lyles for easily 20 minutes.
Crazy.
And that's kind of what I felt like he was trying to show me, like that bossness. Like, I'm gonna get an edge up while I talk to you in this meeting. I'm gonna do two things, And so we're having
he's talked down to you a little bit?
Yeah, we're having this meeting. He's just like, I won't say he's degrading, but he's just talking like and you know what I did, this, why Kanye did this, and the game he was giving me was good game. I ain't gonna hold you. I still use a lot of the things that he gave me in that room to this day. To be honest, I use everything that I took from my Warner experience to this day. Literally, I didn't watch sports till I went to Warner. I didn't understand that aspect of being a square and being a nerd, but working with that other side of the spectrum and it bringing the like full crowd that you're looking for. Me and Nipsey Hussle talked about that a long time ago, but I didn't really understand it.
Bro, you bought Nipsey Hussle weed.
Oh, I brought
and you weren't even smoking back then.
Yeah, I wasn't even a smoker.
Let's talk about this because you played him the Benjamin Button track.
Yep.
You played him like
40 days, 40 nights.
Square in the circle, right?
Circle. Yep.
What was that like, man? Like talking to Nipsey Hussle and him like pretty much vouching for you.
Bro, he wanted to sign me. He had a deal with Epic.
They're trying to bridge that gap.
Yep.
You were saying, right?
Yep. And he pretty much he was one of the first people from the West Coast that was blowing up on blogs. Like you had Dom Kennedy and you had Tehran, you had like Pat Div, and you had
Pat Div,
you had the underground rappers blowing up on blogs, but he was the first like street rapper from the West that that blew up on blogs.
Yep.
And I feel like street rappers on blogs was a phenomenon, and that's why a lot of the street rappers who knew how to use blogs like Gucci Mane and Trade the Truth, they won on the blogs because it was a world for genuinely nerds. It was genuinely a world for people who knew how to use the computer, which weren't street cats. So the nerds loved getting street music, but not that many street cats knew how to handle the blog world. So when the ones who did, like Nipsey Hussle did it, I saw, you know what you're doing. So when Nipsey Hussle came through, I was like, hey, I called the homie. Like I said, I didn't smoke.
Was this in Wichita?
Yeah, it was in Wichita.
Where was
Nipsey
he performing
Hussle,
at?
Cotillion.
And so hold up, so you knew his manager?
Yeah, I knew his manager.
How did you know the manager?
Remember we were talking earlier about the music directory? There you go.
So then you went to, let me see if I remember this story, because you told me. So you asked the music manager pretty much if Nipsey needs some weed since he'll be in town, and they say, oh yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So then you gave the manager the weed, and then just to be able to get close to Nipsey.
Yeah, all free. You know what I mean? No, I wasn't like, yo, here's how much it's gonna be. Like,
it's
I just
business. It's like, it's a sales tactic. It's like almost like I think of like first thing comes to mind, like Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes,
when he was
a
just
salesman. A Pursuit of Happiness type salesman. 100%.
Just like, let me get in the door.
Just get in the door. And bro, that's why when you say those names, it's such a big win to me. Because it's like, I remember when Bun B sent me his verse. I remember we sent so many songs to Nipsey. And every song we sent to Nipsey, he actually gave me an actual critique on. Like, nah, I don't want to do that because this and that song works better for you. You should get so-and-so on it.
Did y'all ever do a song together?
Nope, never did a record. We only, like I said, would send each other records back and forth.
Right.
Me and Jack, same thing. I have other records that I did with Jack that just weren't good enough to even finish. You know what I mean? Like, he'll send me a record, I'll lay some vocals down on it, send it back, be like, what do you think? He's like, try this one. And he'll send me another record. Or I was doing the same thing to Nipsey. I sent him Benjamin Button. I sent him Life First Living. I sent him, because you have to remember, this is before Everybody's Nobody. So I'm trying to get him on Everybody's Nobody. I sent him Good. I sent him so many records. I was like, what do you want to rap? How you want to rap? But the hardest part was I knew he was a gangster rapper. And I was like, how can I bridge that gap? You know, but he showed me. He genuinely showed me. He was like, don't try to do something that I would like. Do something that you would like.
Right.
And I'll just do me. And I'll take that forever with me. And Nipsey Hussle was the only dude, two people, Nipsey Hussle and Mac Miller, the only dudes who checked on me during my break. Like, checked on me. I didn't hit them. They didn't reach out, hit me. Like, yo, how you doing? Out of nowhere. I still got the messages on my Twitter.
I believe you, bro.
But it blows my mind.
Back in 2014, he reached out?
Yeah, 2014, 2015. He had a show in 2015 in Lawrence. Said he reached out. He reached out in 2014 when I was taking my break. Then he had a show in Lawrence in 2015 that made him like, yo, I mean, like, a lot of people, when they in Kansas, they don't even know how far Wichita is from everything. They'll go to Kansas City and hit me like, yo, I'm in town.
Was that 3 hours away?
Yeah, exactly. But I'll pull up.
That's crazy, bro. So Nipsey, let me get this straight. He was gonna be on probably Everybody's Nobody.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Big Sean was on Everybody's Nobody. But then when I got the vinyl, he wasn't on the track list.
On
the vinyl that I have right behind me.
Yeah. But is he on
the Omen track? Is not on there.
Oh, all right. So the reason
what
why
happened?
So there's nothing happened. The only reason why is because when we did Everybody's Nobody, it was kind of, when I say it wasn't kind of the beginning, I was still recording on like a microphone, like a dynamic microphone.
Really?
Yeah, not even a condenser mic. I was recording. Nobody's all on a dynamic microphone.
That's crazy. At the house?
At the crib, the basement. And so I didn't have a lot of the sessions. So Seven produced everything. So what we did, I remember back then I used to bounce acapellas, but I only had acapellas of the songs that me and Seven did, because he would take my acapella and mix the beat around it. And he still does that to this day. So when we came back to having to make the vinyl, and Nobody's probably the only vinyl that we'll have to go through this through because of that situation. Right. It was a problem just because we needed the highest quality files for the vinyl.
And that was a low quality file.
We did that song literally like, Big Sean sent me that in the middle of the night, like trying to get the album, get on Everybody's Nobody, because Everybody's Nobody was about to come out probably like 3 days after.
How did you reach out to Big Sean?
So me and Big Sean were already working. I knew Big Sean through, how did I meet Big Sean?
Mike Posner.
There you go. See, that's why I fuck with you. That's why. You understand.
Bro,
you understand the story.
Bro, I didn't know nothing about Big Sean until the Kuniverse.
That's
the Kuniverse,
crazy.
Right? The blog. You reposted Big Sean
volume
1, volume 2.
1.
I think it was volume 2. It was he had the green hat.
The green hat. That's volume 2.
Yep.
That's volume 2.
And I was like, who's this dude?
Yep.
And then I went to his blog because he had a blog.
Yeah, finallyfamous.com. Yep.
And I was like, wow. I was like, this dude's really doing it.
Yep.
And I would I would go to both of you guys' blog and I'm like, dang, like this is crazy.
So that's how it was. I knew Big Sean from Get You Some. So Get You Some was on the Kanye graduation mixtape. So he dropped a mixtape.
Right.
What the fuck was that mixtape called?
Bro, hold up.
Hold on, I gotta get it now.
It's a brown cover, right?
No, you're thinking of College Dropout mixtape. This one was called it was a glow in the dark type mixtape. It had Get You Some, it had colors, cool outrageous lovers of uniquely raw style. This is what you call the moving sidewalk.
Oh, wow. Wasn't that Farnsworth, right?
Yeah, Farnsworth Bentley. Bro. Can't Tell Me Nothing. The Can't Tell Me Nothing mixtape.
Dang.
So
let me see the cover.
This one right here.
Yep. I remember.
2007.
Wow.
So that came out May 27,
That's
2007.
Crazy.
All right. Big Sean's on that mixtape. Get You Some. That's how I found him. So I was already up on him.
So then you researched?
And so I researched him. I followed him from there. And then when I started working with Mike Posner, I was like, yo, you got that song Roll the Windows Up with Big Sean. Like, how can I get with him? Like, oh, that's the homie, man. Let me put you on the phone. He was like the Post
Malone back then.
All the way. I love Mike, man. He was a Post Malone.
Is Mike a Cancer?
No, Aquarius.
Wow.
Aquarius, like a mug.
Dang.
Like when I say like a mug, I say that because he floats. Like he just floats.
Even the way he speaks.
Yes.
That's crazy. Yes. So then Mike Posner connected you to Big Sean.
Yep.
And then so when was the first time you met Big Sean? Like in person?
In Detroit. I did a show. Actually, no, I did. Yep, I did a show with Chitty Bang, not with Big Sean.
Right.
This 2 Fake video. Me and Carson shooting that 2 Fake video. My nigga, we all in. You remember that line? I was at that video shoot. You know what I mean? When he's like talking about the 2 Fake video on top of Mike Carson's apartment.
Yeah, the 2 Fake. Yep.
Yeah, I was at that video shoot. That's how I met him.
You were at the 2 Fake video shoot.
Yeah, we were in Chicago, hanging out. We went to Juggernaut.
Passion Pit sample, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I feel like Chitty Bang, they took your style. I remember you said about Childish Gambino too.
For real. I'll say this.
Childish Gambino, because I remember y'all were beefing. You said
I won't say Chitty Bang took our style. Childish Gambino definitely knew what he was doing. But I won't say Chitty Bang. The reason why I won't say Chitty Bang, because Chitty Bang came from the Can't Tell Me Nothing era. So did we. So that's where the style similarities come from.
Right, because the guy, he's the producer, the white guy produces.
There you go. May 27th. Now I know that project came out May 27, 2007. It makes so much sense because, like, a lot of my life changed once I had my son, and just that journey heading to having my son. That was 2007 going into 2008. My son was born super early. He was born in March. He was supposed to be born in July, and so he was born super early. And that whole journey was just like, it was life changing.
Right.
So
you talk about that on Shared Trauma.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Because he was a preemie.
Yeah, he was preemie. Yep. Man. Yep. He was born 22 weeks.
What was that?
At
like,
22 weeks, and it was, he was a miracle baby, to be honest. Like, he was a twin. So he had a twin brother. His brother Caleb. His twin brother passed away 1 month after they were born. So they were born.
No, he was a twin.
Yeah. They were born March 18th.
Just like
and
Steven.
Caleb. My twin brothers. My dad's a twin. Yeah, my dad's a twin,
bro.
No shit.
He's identical twin.
What's their names?
Ron and Reggie.
My dad's brother is Ron. My dad is Don. That's crazy. Ronald and Reggie. That's wild.
Hold on. Your dad's name is Don.
Don, bro.
And your brother, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Your uncle's name is Ron.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Because my dad's name is Ron.
That's
Ronald, and then his brother is Reginald.
That's
Reggie.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Leo's.
All
my family, bro.
Oh wow!
I wanted to ask you, like,
interesting.
Because I know we're going through different like topics, but like, what's the like parental like zodiac sign influence on you? Because my mom's a Leo, and my dad's a Leo.
Oh,
and then my brother, he's a Sag.
All right, so I would like to say my Aquarius mother, but my grandmother is a Capricorn, All right, which is my opposite. Not only is she a Capricorn, but she has Seven's birthday. That's actually what bonded me and Seven for real. I was like, yo, your birthday's January 6th? Like, that's my grandma's birthday.
That's crazy because you have the same birthday as Bryce.
That's
what I was like, dang.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
And I feel like that cosmic number, that energy that's in the air, that
me and Kashia have the same some of the big three.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Virgo rising.
Mm-hmm.
Virgo
Taurus
rising.
moon.
Taurus moon. Oh, which is crazy because
crazy.
You're a Cancer and she's a Gemini, and then your parents being Leos, so you have the summer in you, like literally in you.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? The Virgo is the end of summer. You know, it's the transition from summer to spring. Leo is the hottest part of summer.
Right.
Cancer is the beginning of summer. You feel me? And then Taurus is the beginning of spring, like the jump off.
So what about the Hip Hop Stars book?
Oh, bro,
the Hip Hop Star.
We could go.
Because
we can go there.
See, I didn't realize how big you were into astrology until that time we were like rapping in the back of the car at Tevin's Not Human photo shoot.
Yep.
And you started talking about Soulja Boy, Chief Keef, Young Thug.
Yep.
How they're all Leos, and I'm just like, man, okay. But then I was like, whoa, like. This is making a lot of sense, bro. Yeah. And you even like Dr. Dre and like just the producer rapper connection and all that.
Yep.
But it's just crazy to think, bro, because
there's
some kind of connection.
Right, think about this. Let's give the audience some context.
Right.
What year was that?
2015.
All right. So boom, it's 2024.
2016.
2016.
Because I was about to have my son.
Yep.
I was going through a low period at that time, honestly, because there was a lot going on. Wow. And I met you. I was like, damn.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it was 2016.
And 2016 was probably when I really started writing the book. I didn't get into astrology until 2013. I didn't know nothing about astrology.
Who introduced you to it?
It was a book. It was a book called Sextrology. I got it from a friend of mine named Natalie, and she was like, she gave it to us for my wedding, actually, me and my wife, and she got it for her, but I used it to work on my script. So remember, I talked about writing a script called Cage. When I'm working on that script, I was like, I was basing the character so much on like the comics, and I was like, maybe I need to make more depth, because one thing that Marvel does really well is, you know, the comic book characters in Marvel comics are very in depth. They have these very dark backstories, and you have to go into depth of that and figure out all the nuances that make them who they are. So I was like, maybe I should look into astrology so I can see what makes people like that. It would be hard to just say like all these other like cultures, but I'm like, let me just look into astrology. It's only 12. I can make 12 characters based on these. So I started on Virgo, and because I imagined my character playing the Luke Cage was Idris Elba. So I was like, let me see what sign Idris Elba is. He's a Virgo? Cool. I started basing it off of that. While I'm writing it, my dad's a Virgo. So I'm like, bro, this sounds just like my dad. Like, literally. I'm writing things, I'm like, oh God, that makes for my dad all the way. I'm writing another thing, I'm like, bro, that's crazy. And so, like I said, I didn't know nothing about astrology. So then I'm like, all right, let me go look at Cancer. I can start reading about Cancer. And I'm also going through this break. And so it's saying things like, for instance, it was saying things like Cancer men are driven off of direction. So if they feel like they are lacking direction, or they feel like they are just out there swimming with no guidance, they end up losing themselves, and they end up going through this period that the Cancer symbol basically shows, which is a yin yang sign broken up. That's what the Cancer symbol is. It's a finding peace. Right. You know what I mean? It's not the holistic yin and yang came together. It's the beginning of it. Right. It's the egg and the yolk, kind of, you know. And when I realized that, I was like, I need to get more into this, to like not only work on my script, but like help myself. And I just started diving. And the more I dived, I realized that that's what Cancers do. And then the more I dived into it, like,
it's crazy because like once you find something, you will get fixated on it, and you will like, I don't know what it is, bro. Yes. Like it's just like,
yes,
and it just will stick, and like
I mean, even with screenwriting, with everything, I feel like that's what pushed me, and that's what gave me my gift.
It's like you figured out how to utilize the ADHD for like like it's a superpower if you do
All
it
the
like
way.
how you do it.
Yes,
like that, bro.
because
really
it is a
superpower.
weakness, you know. But when you can take your weakness and turn it into a superpower, I feel like that is the greatest strength inside of you. When you can,
right.
I mean, I've done that with my whole career. You know, Kid with the Green Backpack. They were like, that wasn't a good thing. They were calling me that because nobody knew me. You know, Square. That wasn't a good thing. They were calling me that because they didn't want me to hang out.
Who was the first person that called you the Kid with the Green Backpack?
I want to say her name was Sierra. Her name, it was a girl that I knew from Robinson. I went to Robinson Middle School.
Okay, what's Robinson?
All right, so when I'm at Robinson, I was in the IB program. And so the IB program had no other black.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro, that's advanced.
Yeah, International Baccalaureate program.
Why did you go to East to finish?
There you go. So as the Kid with the Green Backpack, I didn't feel welcome. I didn't feel like I had anything there. You know, like at Robinson, my only friend was Charles Thomas, and this other girl named Sierra Autry passed away. R.I.P. my girl Sierra. But those were the only friends and black friends that I had. Had hella Asian friends, hella white friends, but those were the only two black friends I had. So all the black kids were like, who's that? Because they never knew me. They didn't have no classes with me, but they would see me at lunch clutching this green backpack. And so they would go, oh, that's just the Kid with the Green Backpack. And so when I got older, I didn't know that. When I got older, I was at Southeast. This girl, Sierra, was like, I didn't even know you talk. You know, we used to call you the Kid with the Green Backpack in high school. In middle school. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, we used to call you the Kid with the Green Backpack. You used to walk around like this. And I just held on to that. I never even thought about it with the album. I just held on to it. And then as time passed, I forgot what it was. Maybe it was College Dropout. Maybe it was Graduation, but it was definitely Kanye influenced. I was like, I need to take all of the things that are like the negatives and like wear them as my superpower.
What happened to the album? Because see, the Kid with the Green Backpack pretty much came to zero heroes. That's like that's pretty much Kid with the Green Backpack. But like, I mean, what happened? Like, so, why didn't they want to release that? Was it because it wasn't hip hop enough?
Yeah, it was like pretty much the thing that I don't like about major labels and major companies, period, is that they feel like, for one, they're marketers. They're not creatives. So they're always looking at it from a marketing standpoint. And a lot of times when you're doing marketing, you can very well miss it. The same way you can hit the mark, you can miss it completely. And there's really not a gray area. You know, like either you hit the mark or you miss it. And I feel like a lot of majors miss it because they're not creatives. They're thinking from a coin perspective. And so they were thinking like, especially at this time, bro, Kid Cudi's blowing up. Mind you, when I got a deal, they told me, literally, verbatim, Todd Moskowitz, you're going to be our next Kid Cudi. Those were his words. So I knew right when he said that, I was like, fuck. Uh-oh. Expectations. There you go.
So now you felt like you had to sound like Cudi.
Not only sound like, but do what he, like, the numbers he did. Cudi, I don't know if you remember, but Cudi was coming out doing 320,000 first week.
Wow.
Man on the Moon, I can look it up. Man on the Moon.
The mixtape? Or like the album.
The first album, because the first
back
album
in 09,
came out.
right?
Yeah, it came out in 09. So that was the beginning of blog era. So this is one of the first blog era successes. So they look at it like, okay, J.Cole wasn't popping yet, and Drake was an anomaly because he had Lil Wayne and Cash Money. This is someone who's from Cleveland, Kansas, right?
Midwest.
A nerd,
right?
Almost to the point, like, now it's not something that you would say, but like back then they'd be like, yo, he gay.
Just cause like the skinny jeans,
he's gay.
And all that.
What is he doing?
Right.
And during that era, it was looked at that way. But now it's like, nah, he's creative. He's abstract. Right. He's
so now
doing
it's
him.
cool. Now it's cool.
So it's cool.
Like they were calling you a square then, but now
it's like the coolest thing in the world. Now the gangster dudes playing Dragon Ball Super. You know what I mean?
Anime and all that stuff.
Now the
do you feel like you were like
watching
part of the cause of that, man?
Yeah, 100%. I know 100%. I know I was because I know that there were a lot of cool people who were like, yo, I don't rap, but I'm more like you than all the rappers out here. And you make the that I do behind the scenes feel cool. Like, bro, I watch comic book movies. Yeah. Bro, I read comics. I play video games.
Mass Effect,
like,
all that stuff.
I'm into all of that. I'm watching Lost. I'm doing all of that. But street rappers ain't talking about that. And you are. And so it changed everything.
That's how you got a fan base.
And I
started watching Lost because you had so many references. I had to go back to figure out.
You had to go back, understand the jet, you know, the wheelchair, John Locke. I was going crazy.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. I remember there was a story when you told me when you met Big Sean and y'all were like crossing ways, like you were going downstairs, he was going upstairs. Tell me, remind me again that story, because it was like it's something that it reminded you of something like.
It was the time I just got my record deal. So before that, I got signed in a hotel room with Big Sean and Chitty Bang. So think about this. Remember, I'm talking about Chitty Bang, you know, in Chicago, watching Big Sean and Chitty Bang. That's another moment. I'm watching them shoot the video on the roof. I'm down on the ground with the homies, hanging out, talking, laughing, and they're up there shooting. And I was just like, damn, I can't wait till I'm there. So next time I see Sean, I'm in North Carolina. Me, Big Sean, Chitty Bang have a show. After the show, I'm like, yo, what y'all doing? Yo, let's go to the hotel and play music. And so we all go to the hotel room and bring out our laptops and we all playing music. I got my email from Warner that night. They're like, hey, this is so-and-so. We found you tonight, and we're amazed by your mixtape. We want to sign you. That's literally what the email said. I'm like, yo, I turned around, like, yo, Warner just emailed me. They want to sign me. The dude who emailed me is Chitty Bang's attorney. So he's like, I'm actually Chitty Bang's attorney. So ask them about me. They'll put in a good word. I'm like, you know this dude? He's like, oh, that's David. Yeah, that's our attorney. He's good. He's good peoples. If he's sending you somebody, it's a good person. And so I told Sean, you know, I'm like, damn, this is crazy. He's like, oh, that's dope. That's dope. Time passes. I see him in Detroit. I'm like, yo, we dap each other up. I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, man, chilling. You good? I'm like, I'm good. He's going, I'm like, you saw what happened, right? Because he was there when it happened. Like, you saw what happened, right? He's like, yeah, congrats. And so he keep on going up the stairs. I'm going down because I'm about to go perform. He's going upstairs to the green room. And so we're going, it's a spiral staircase. And so I'm here and he's looking down that spiral staircase. He goes, yo, congrats on that deal, for real. Welcome. And I was like, oh, this is like everything reset. This is the beginning. Like, but I'm looking up at him going up. And I'm about to start my journey.
What does that symbolize?
And it's like you basically are starting over. You know, you're starting from the beginning. And even though he's going up, like it gave me like hope. Like that's just like I said with the rooftop. I know I'm about to be up there. But he was going up and I was going down. And so I had to start over from that joint. He did too. He had a moment where he was at the bottom and was going up the staircase, or had to go up that staircase, or had to walk down that staircase once he got a deal. Right, you know, he got signed to Good Music after graduation, but he was already on the Good Music mixtape.
Did he reach out to you when you didn't get to make it on the XXL?
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
because you said everybody. You said Nipsey reached out, texted you, Mac Miller.
Yep. Oh no, not Nipsey, Wiz, Big Sean.
They all reached out to you. And Cole.
Yep.
For the 2010.
Yep. Nipsey, Wiz, Cole, Big Sean. I say those four names because that's what created my beef with XXL.
Because they blackballed you.
Yeah, they blackballed me after that.
You made a diss track up to them or something, right?
Yeah, at least from the magazine. They were like, no XV post on the magazine, no XV post on XXLmag.com. And XXLmag.com was huge.
Because wasn't it something they had against you because you made a song? Like
I made a song called Bad News too.
And that was after you found out you didn't make it? Or was that before?
It was right after. So I made that song based on that moment. Like I used Kanye's Love Lockdown, or not Love Lockdown, but 808s and Heartbreaks Bad News instrumental.
I remember that track.
And I was like, I got some bad news, right? Bad News 1 was a song about Mickey Facts.
Why didn't they want to put you on the list? Because I thought it was because maybe you made that track and then they you know what I mean?
Nah. And let me be clear. I didn't make that track because I didn't make the list. I made that track because what happened was Big Sean called me. He was the first one to call me. He was like, yo, where you at? I was like, at home. He was like, oh, you ain't in New York? I'm like, am I supposed to be? Nah. He's like, nah, I figured we all out here for the XXL thing. So I figured you would be out here.
Damn.
And I go, nah. This is after, this is second XXL freshman. So this is the one I want to make.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, bro, let me call you right back. I hang up. I call Rob Markman.
Who's that?
Rob Markman. Shout out to my dude, Rob. Rob was a writer at XXL at the time. All right. And so he's just a writer. Right now, he does amazing things at Genius. He does amazing things with Hip Hop DX. He's just a journalist in the hip hop realm who does some dope things and he comes from the blog era. He came up through that blog era, but he was at hip hop. He was at XXL, and that was one of my connections that I knew that was there that I knew I could call. So I'm like, yo, Rob, Sean just called me and said that they're doing the XXL freshman cover. Is that true? And he's like, nah, that's not true. I would tell you if they were doing the cover. That was my issue. That was my only issue. Yeah, that was my issue. And so
why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, so why didn't you tell me? So I get it. He had a job. He would say that to this day. He would say, I'm pretty sure we've talked about it years later. And he was like, I had a job. I just started at XXL. I can't be the one to break the code that we got told the night before everybody got there. Don't leave XXL. This doesn't leave anything. And before that, there was a fake list that went out that I don't know if you know, fake lists for XXL come out and they have names on them.
Yeah, right.
My name was on one of those. And so they started thinking maybe XV did that. Maybe XV put that list out, because who put that list out? I'm like, I didn't put that list out, but that call put me on their radar, right? Then, let's be clear. After that, Wiz calls me. All right, Rob, okay, all right, cool. This is weird. Sean, he's like, nah, bro, hang up. Wiz called. Hello? Yo, you in New York? And I'm like, nah, but Sean already called me. So if you see this studio session with Wiz, Sean, Currency, French Montana, that's why the calls were getting made. Because they were all there. They were all calling each other. Nipsey's in that studio. Go watch the video. They made a song together. It was only Currency, Big Sean, and French on the song. And Johnny Giuliano produced it. Another homie.
Yep.
I came up with him.
The Kingsman production.
Kingsman Productions era.
I've talked to him too before. Yep.
That's the homie. So Johnny Giuliano doing the beat. Wiz, Big Sean, French Montana, and Currency doing a song. And I ain't there. Oh, I'm hot. Because Wiz called me and
who's responsible for this, man?
I mean, to be honest, I blamed my managers. And so my managers got dropped maybe a week later.
The Jimmy
No, this was a totally different manager. This was Leroy and Pat. Okay. So if you hear me talk about on Fall Out the Sky, even when I play the song for Pat, I forgot the line. Pat say I won't play it. When I call Pat and I won't play it. Because I had so much insecurities that Pat used to always try to pull me out of. Just send me music. And I would be like, all right, I'm going to send you something tonight. And I'll be like, then the night would come. I'm like, nah, this ain't good enough. And I've always had that. I'm still that way.
I remember because you said there was one time you didn't like the way that your voice sounded. And that was something I could relate to too, because I always struggled with that as well.
I hate it. I don't know if it was just what I was going through, but I was just like I didn't hear myself no more. Right. It wasn't like I didn't like how it sounded. I didn't hear me. I didn't hear myself in the music.
Was this after 2013?
After 2013. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything on March Madness, everything on Squarian Radio, all of those songs, I only put those out. If you listen to my new album, Blog Era is Dead, I literally say, so Squarian Radio was like
a dump,
a song photo dump.
Song photo, yep.
And because I literally just took all these photos, songs, and was like, here. I'm not going to organize them. I'm not going to strategize them.
Was there a period you just wanted to stop? Like, was there ever like just you?
Never. I'm going to tell you why. What you said earlier, bro. When you talk about being from Wichita and seeing me go through that, and then, you know, the deal doesn't pan out. I don't blow up like the artists that you see, like J.Cole and Drake and Kendrick, and you're from Wichita, from the town that I'm from. It makes you go, nah, I can't do it. Not from here. There's my perfect example, and he don't do it no more. I couldn't be that. I genuinely couldn't be that. I was like, that ain't in me. It's not who I am, and it's not going to be my legacy.
Right.
Like my first album I ever made when I was 16 years old, it's called The Legacy. So obviously I was already thinking that from the beginning. You feel me? So I knew that's not something I'm going to do. I just got to figure this out. And also, you know, me and my producer, Mike Summers, he was with Strange at the time. Me and him weren't friends. So it wasn't just I was going through like the music shit. I was going through like battles with my family. You know, my mom has always been supportive, but at the same time, as a parent, she's like questioning like what's going on now.
Just like financially.
Like what's going on? Like why, like what's happening? And she can't understand because she hadn't seen all the behind the scenes stuff. So she kind of can't understand what's going on. So you're kind of like, you know, like when you like gain weight and you go out and they're not judging you, but you feel judged. Right. You know what I mean? You think they all looking at you. That's insecurity. Right. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Like it's so crazy because Fall of the Sky is one of my favorite songs. And when I talk about my insecurities, like a mall cop. You know?
Yep.
I think that was I love music. I love rap because you can put a very small hint of yourself in one line. You can say fucking 4 words.
It's crazy.
You know, think about Pluto. I mean, let's go to Future's new mixtape. He literally like going try going in the trap, right. Taking the lane, Right. When I'm hearing it, I don't know what the interpretation of it is, but I think of it as this is what a dude would be like if he's in the trap, you know, gone off.
And he doesn't even do most of the drugs.
Nah, he don't do none of them. He don't do none of them. But he gets it. He understands the mission and the vibe he's going for. But so it's easy.
Would that kind of be like Culture Vulture then? If he's not even doing the drugs, but
he's pushing,
but he can look like the culture.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I don't know. All right, so put it like this: what about people? And I ain't gonna say no names, but what about people that are in the game that produce positive music, but behind the scenes they're real negative people. They're really nasty individuals. They're really I even think about like not to be like throwing stones, but like even with Kanye, and he'll jump and make a Jesus is King album, and then you hear, you know, Vultures too, and he's like, I just fucked a Jewish bitch, I just fucked Scooter's bitch. I'm like, God, what the fuck, bro? Are you Christian?
He's bipolar.
But he's bipolar.
And autistic too.
Yeah, yes. For sure. For sure.
Him and Elon.
Yeah.
Both.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So like, and then a Gemini on top of that?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
All the way. Because that duality's in them naturally. But you have bipolar in it. Get out of here.
Do you think the Illuminati is real?
Nah. I'm gonna tell you why, bro. I'm gonna tell you why. Because control is a motherfucker.
Right.
Control is a motherfucker. Control is something that I feel like people don't even realize that once they get it, how much they crave it.
Right.
You know, it's why women have there's such thing as revenge body. You know what I mean? Because that's taking my control back. I'm taking myself back.
Right.
And I think that when it comes to control, like that's what the Illuminati's, the vision, the human and the everybody's vision of Illuminati is control. They're not only trying to control others, but they take people into their control. Right. Bro.
But the symbolisms and all the stuff in the music industry.
Symbolism's always real.
What is the point for that? Like even like when Big Sean put the one eye thing on the XXL cover, and then all of a sudden he blew up.
Yeah. I feel like symbolism is always real, but I feel like symbolism doesn't overpower manifestation. Right. I don't think symbolism overpowers prayer.
Because I feel like if you would have did a cover like that, you would have blew up.
Nah, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Listen to this new album. You'll hear a lot more faith in me, right? The reason I didn't blow up because I didn't have a lot of faith. Not just in God. Like there's a reason astrology connected with me. I didn't have faith. Astrology helped me with faith. It didn't like make me have faith in astrology. It helped me with faith in God. Like when I was losing my faith, not as only as an artist, but just losing my faith, right? In everything. Wow. Family, love, everything. None of this matters.
Wow. Right? What was this 2014?
2014 for sure.
So losing just like that. So going through that dark time.
Yes, that dark time. Just like I don't have faith in anything. You know.
Wow. When did you get the faith back?
The more I learned and read things, like I read this book Black Privilege by Charlemagne the God. That's one of my favorite books because it talked the very first chapters of two books I read: Charlemagne the God's book Black Privilege and Steve Harvey's book
Jump.
Not Jump. Jump is the second. Act like a success. Think like a success. Jump is the after book of act like a success. Think like a success. So you had Act Like a Man, Think Like a Man for women.
Okay.
And he released that for women, but he made a book for men and was like, and women, but people who are just trying to be successful. Gotcha. And the very first chapter was I'm tired. In that chapter, I read it over and over and over.
What was it that connected?
Like being tired. Like tired of everything. Like I just said, like when you're at the point where you're like, I don't care about nothing. It's because you're tired. You know what I mean? You know when you're tired?
Yeah. You
don't care about nothing. Like exhausted. You know, imagine, when somebody tries to wake you up, this happens to me all the time, trying to wake you up and they're telling you something and you don't care because you're tired. And that's where I was at. But
even the word depression phonetically means deep rest. Deep rest.
Yes.
Because like you're tired.
Yep.
Tired. Yeah. Pressed down.
Depressed down. It's even crazy. Like I think about notes. Are you a sharp? Are you on key? Or are you flat? You know what I mean? Because that D
or A minor
or A minor.
Man, I got so many questions just with that though, man. Like I know we're jumping around and whatnot, but that's just like we have to. That's how we are. But like it's just like I'm really curious about like when you met Kendrick because you were performing at Southwest by Southwest.
Yeah.
And I want to get back to the faith topic too, but like just on that note,
let's go to it.
You met him at Southwest, right?
Yep.
Southwest by Southwest.
Yep.
Southwest by Southwest.
Yep.
What was that like, man? Like, and was that the first and only time, or did you meet him again? Or?
We met actually multiple times. So crazy story. He was on that tour with Nipsey.
Kendrick.
Yeah, he was on the bus with Nipsey. Not on the bus with Nipsey. He was on the bus with J-Rock. I just didn't meet him
when they came to the Cotillion.
Yes. So that show was J-Rock, Game, Snoop, Nipsey. Crazy at the Cotillion.
Wow. What year was this?
What? 2000. So 2000. Everybody's nobody's 2009, so it's 2008.
Well, you know how crazy that would have been if it was like...
Think about that. J-Rock, Nipsey, Game, Snoop.
The Game.
It's crazy. It's called How the West Was One tour.
And it didn't get shot up?
It didn't get shot up. It actually was a peaceful, relaxing night. Game was probably the most intense person in the building.
That's wild.
Killed a bottle of vodka on stage. Killed it.
Damn.
Drunk the whole thing.
What's his sign?
Sag. Dionysus.
The addictive person.
Yeah, addictive personality. Boom. There you go. But yeah, Kendrick. All right, so Kendrick, he was with J-Rock during that time, but he was a little man. He was a little homie. So I wouldn't even know who he was. That was K-Dot at that time. That wasn't Kendrick Lamar.
It was K-Dot.
K-Dot.
So he was rapping though back then.
Yeah, he was rapping. He didn't become Kendrick Lamar until 2009. He changed his name from K-Dot to Kendrick Lamar on the Kendrick Lamar EP during the blog era. Okay. And that's how I found out about him. Me and Seven found Kendrick Lamar and we were like, he's the one. No lie.
How'd y'all know?
We just listened to it and was like, he was doing things that we were trying to do. And he was doing them like effortlessly.
He's that cataract.
Yes.
At least some Naeem.
No,
Like I know you probably like Doom because
you know it.
the author of Star Wars got all the ideas. I did not know.
Have you read the book?
The first one.
The first one is actually the best one.
I-
There's like a bunch of them though. There's like,
Bro, Dune is a whole nother thing. They got a video game coming out.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, bro.
They had a video game back in the day,
but they got one on the PS5 coming out, bro.
What?
Yes, look it up. Look it
Graphics. Oh shit!
God. I know you like the Mass Effect, so like this is gonna be.
It's gonna be that. Oh,
it looks beautiful, man.
Oh,
it looks beautiful,
snap.
but
that's him.
But like you
That's
said, Kendrick, you guys, because I first found out about Kendrick through Pharrell's blog.
Oh, crazy!
You know, because everybody had a blog. Drake had a blog. I found out The Weeknd through Drake's blog.
Yep.
And then found out about Kendrick through Pharrell's blog, Billionaires Boys Club.
Frank Ocean.
And then
Frank Ocean had his own Tumblr.
I found out Big Sean through your blog.
Yeah.
It was the blog era,
bro. In the blog era.
It was
people had blogs and Tumblrs, bro.
Yep. It was
For real.
I really miss it. But like I remember him posting in the studio and Pharrell said something too, like, yeah, Kendrick. And I was like, who's this dude?
That's
like,
crazy.
Who's this
See,
short dude?
I just knew I didn't know nothing about TDE. I didn't know nothing about none of that. All I knew was Kendrick Lamar EP. And he had a song on it called no, actually
was that
Kendrick
before
Lamar,
that was before Section 80.
Yeah, before Section 80.
For sure.
Yeah.
Way
It
before.
was actually before Overdose. Have you heard Overdose?
Mm-mm.
What? OD? Wow. Overly dedicated. The black and white cover. So that's what made it. Has a song called Michael Jordan on it. Michael Jordan, bitch.
Yeah, I gotta go back and listen.
That's the one I found him on. Was we found him on Kendrick Lamar EP, but when we heard Overly Dedicated, when I say stalking him at that point, we were just, basically trying to get records to him. But the way I got the record was the reason he gave me that record, same reason that the Big Sean shit happened, all that, because I didn't make the XXL freshman list. That's why he gave me that record. Go look at the freshman cover with Mac Miller, Yellow Wolf.
2011?
2011. Go look at that cover. Right?
Lil B.
You can find 4 people. I ain't gonna say the names. You can find 4 people that I should have been on there.
Lil Twist.
You can find 4 people.
Bro.
Okay?
Man.
And that was politics. At that point, they were like, all right, I'm blackballed. So
because you made that bad news track.
Because I made that. So I wasn't going to get it no matter what.
Damn.
Kendrick comes and gives me a dap and leans in for the pound. And he said in my ear, yo, they fucked you with that XXL freshman cover. And then when it came out, I was like, man, I know. And he's like, if there's anything I can do, bro, I got you. And I was like, I need that verse. We still locked in on the handshake. Like, nah, I need that verse. And he's like, I got you. Let me know. Locked in the handshake a couple more times. Yeah, for sure. I need that verse, Kendrick. And
how many weeks later?
That South by Southwest, that was March. One month later. No. Few weeks later. Because that's March. Yeah. Zero Heroes came out April 15th.
And Big Sean took a little longer.
Big Sean took all the way. Big Sean, we were hounding Big Sean.
What was going on?
The only reason Big Sean did it was because he saw DJ Enough played your boy on Hot 97.
You talking about the A-list? You and J.Cole?
No, not even that. He played Mirror's Edge on Hot 97 radio.
Oh, so then Big Sean was just like, okay, let me go ahead and
he was like, hold on, how you get on radio without a deal, without a Kanye, without a yo? So if you listen to Big Sean, listen, why you think he said the first line? Big about to drop Hot 97. That's what made him say that. Because he was like, maybe they'll play this on Hot 97. If they playing XV on the radio, let me say something that'll get me on the radio. Bro, it was a genius move. I ain't gonna hold you. It was a genius move.
Bro, it's just frustrating as a fan and even as a creator to be able to see like you get the second place.
Oh man,
it's just really it's really frustrating even just hearing the stories, because now when people say the big three, these are all people that I'm sure you probably did. You ever meet Drake?
Yeah,
you met Drake.
Bro, we were trying to get Drake on ADD on my mom. We have the emails. We were $500 and we just didn't do it because I was like, maybe you don't fit on this. But he said $500.
Did you ever meet him?
Yeah, we met. So Omen, who produced the Life Worth Living
with Big Sean,
produced
Best I Ever Had.
Shut It Down. He produced Shut It Down with The Dream.
With The Dream.
Yeah, that's Omen.
That's Omen.
I'll tell you this. We've been in the Drake circle for so long, like knowing that world because of 40 and Drake, because they know the same people I know, that I saw the whole Kanye shit happen. Kanye and Drake been beefing since the beginning. You heard it from me. They've been beefing.
What? Because the 808
Yep.
Heartbreaks?
Yep. So
because of 40?
The story that 40 told us was that.
So you met 40?
Yeah. Yeah. The homies, all that, yeah, in that world. They all, like, shout out to my dude Dara. That's his world. He brought Omen, he brought Leroy, he brought Pat, he brought so many. That was my New York connect. Dara was a dude that he came from the blog era, Subconscious Threads.
I just feel like it's like the song, like the Kanye song. I can't even think of the name of it, but at the end when he's just like talking about the whole deal and how he got the deal. That's what I feel like right now. 100%. I feel like I'm listening to that.
Yes, that's it.
I can't even remember the name of the track.
Last Call.
Yeah, yep.
Last Call.
With that sample?
Yep.
That's a real sample too.
Yeah.
The Rockefeller?
Yes.
Is that a real sample?
That's a real sample. That's crazy. Cheers to the rock.
I thought that just had somebody.
Nah, and they asked, yeah, cheers to the rock. That's actually a Bette Midler sample. Yeah, I looked everywhere for that sample. And the way he chopped it is crazy. Crazy. That was a different chop right there. But yeah, that's pretty much what this whole thing reminds me of. Because when you think about, like, you know the dude he's talking about on that sample?
Mm-mm.
He wasn't even a nigga. He was a Jew.
He's an A&R, right?
Yep, he's an A&R. He actually was the person who got Charles Hamilton signed. Okay, so that's how I knew him.
Brooklyn.
And that's how I found him. Is pretty much once I got rid of my managers fucked with Charles Hamilton. So once I got rid of my managers, it got word back to him that I was basically out working with them. So he was like, "Hey, let me manage you." And I'm trying to remember his name.
Damn,
I can't remember his name right now. But that's who Kanye talked about that was going to sign him, and the deal fell through. That's what he actually is known for. Is almost signing Kanye. Wow. Because remember that deal, and it was like, right. Capital pulled out of the deal. Capital pulled out of the deal. Capital pulled out of the deal.
Yeah, that was that guy.
Damn. Yep.
It's crazy, man. That's so crazy because the stories are very similar. Like, because it's like nobody talks about, when it comes to movies. Yeah. Like nobody talks about the person who auditioned for the role. Yeah. It was almost gonna make
that's hard.
To be the Edward in Twilight or something. I don't know.
No, 100%.
Nobody talks about the second place person.
Yeah. That's a fact.
You know what I
mean? And there's people who literally loved that person in this TV show. Right. Loved that person in this movie. He had a small part in it, but I loved him in it. I thought he was going to be big. You know what I mean? That's definitely.
Do you feel like if you would have knew like astrology back then, would things would have been different?
Definitely. I'll say that I would. The reason why things would be different, I would know myself a lot more. Right. A lot of the things I put on myself, like I said, that I used to judge myself a lot. I used to be very insecure, and I always compared. Yeah. And because of that, I didn't know myself. I wasn't comparing myself to 50 Cent because he's a Cancer. I was comparing myself to 50 Cent being a success and a rapper. And so what did I think? Maybe I need to be more gangster. And so I went and bought I went and bought a gun.
Was that definition?
Yeah, definition. I went and bought a gun. I just got gangster. I thought maybe this is what I need to be. That's what I mean when I say I didn't know myself. But if I knew, like, I always think, like, my son grows up like, my friend's a Leo. My friend's he grows up like that because of me. Dang. You know what I mean? If my mom had been like, boy, you're a Cancer, you just need to understand that Cancers are da-da-da. You need to be like this. You need to stop being so emotional or getting in your feelings about this. And I don't think it would. Now, there are certain things that you can obviously put in someone that will make them do the opposite of that as well.
That's true.
To
rebel.
Yeah, to rebel. And so it could be the same way. It could be the same way.
That would be crazy.
You feel me? But crazy. I do feel like everything happens for a reason. And the journey I went through, it actually taught me things for this journey that there's no way that this journey is not supposed to happen. You get what I'm saying? Right. Same with Seven. Seven, he went through a journey. Even us splitting up and not working together, and during the time, because Seven never really wanted to sign to Warner. You know what I mean? He wanted to,
because when you got signed, he got signed too, right?
No, and that's where the split came.
Oh, that's where it started.
That's where the split came.
I was curious.
Yes, Chitty Bang got signed together. You feel me? And at this time, when I got signed, my manager was Chitty Bang's manager.
So why didn't they sign Seven?
They didn't want to. They already probably were looking at me as a risk, because they weren't really signing me because of some major success. They were signing me to take me off the market. They were signing me like the first girl, the first day of the new girl at school, and she's pretty. And I'm the cool kid. So I'm gonna go up to her, say, hey, you wanna go out to lunch today? And she's like, hey, sure. That's me. But I don't know, he's trying to take me off the market before all of these other motherfuckers want me.
Right.
And that's kind of what it was, is like, I don't think that there was any other situation that would have been better, because, you know, I think about Big Crit, I think about all the other artists I came up with, Pac Div, Charles Hamilton, Mickey Fax, he was on Epic, Nipsey Hussle was on Epic. Shit, fuck that. Nipsey Hussle went through the whole blog era without success. Went through all of it. Literally, the reason why me and Nipsey Hussle stayed in contact after my break was because he knew I didn't have no success during the blog era. But here I am. Wow. And he dropped Crenshaw in 2014, made $100,000 off of it, and changed everything. Got a deal with Atlantic, dropped his only major album on Atlantic, and it did everything that he wanted it to do. So I'll always look at Nipsey and Mac. Mac went through the whole blog era as a different person. And he came out the blog era a different person.
What do you think? What did he come out as?
He came out,
because he had a TV show too.
Yeah, good and bad. He came out like bigger, but he came out more like wanting more freedom. Okay. You know, and more independent. Rather than like when I met him, he was Rostrum Records. He was like the Pittsburgh son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once he moved to LA, he saw like the world.
And I feel like that's almost kind of maybe got him hooked to
It did. Yeah. And I know that because Big Germ, who was a big part of my comeback too, he produced my favorite song.
Cushion OJ?
Yeah, not only Cushion OJ, but for me, he produced
Don't Say It. That's on the Day One EP.
Yes. Yep. Yes. And that song, bro.
Because that's what I thought that you felt like giving up based on that song.
All right, so that song's actually about it's the predecessor to Shared Trauma. That song is actually about the multiple miscarriages we were going through.
Day One?
Yes, Day One's Giving Up song. Giving Up song.
That's about your son.
That's about, like, no, not my son. We went through, I went through 9 miscarriages.
With Kashir?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Wow. I went through 9 miscarriages. Wow. So during all of those miscarriages, like Giving Up song
I did not know that.
That was, if you listen to it, I don't want these inspiration, no how. It was because everybody's calling me like, I'm sorry. And this is the 9th one. You know what I mean? I've done this 9 times. Like,
and this was what year? From what period?
From 2014. That Give Up song was 2018.
Wow.
So for 4 years.
Because you guys are trying to have another baby.
Mm-hmm. And so those 4 years, we our first miscarriage was 2013. We had that first one right after we got married. Literally right after. Bro. So we had 9 total. Giving Up song was our last one. I literally we went to the hospital, baby's heart not beating. That's why I say how many times we sat in rooms to hear the baby's heart not beating. That's why I say that on the song, because it's like we sat in rooms that heard that a lot, you know, and that's shared trauma that we went through. You feel me?
That's what the song,
and that's why the song comes. And like I talk about us losing the house. You know, I got a house once I got my deal. Once I left Warner, I lost that house. You feel me?
Really?
Yeah.
Like that quick?
That quick. Literally months. Like,
because they knew, like,
yeah. Well, I didn't have no income like that. Not like that. I was touring heavily, and touring and selling beats was keeping me on the road. But once I stopped selling beats and I left Warner, I was dry.
Damn.
And so
how much was the advance they gave you?
my advance was a $62,000 advance.
62,000.
Right. You get a $62,000 advance. That means that you're cutting that with your manager, attorney. That's why I kept as many people out of my pockets as possible.
Right.
But my manager, my attorney, and my accountant. You have to have the accountant. Got to have somebody to count the money. And so all of those, I was like, damn, 20%. It becomes a lot once it's $67,000. So I came home with like, after everything, and not only that, and taxes, like $33,000. All right. And so literally $33,000. The day I got my check, my house got broken into. And when I say broken into, stole everything. Every TV, every camera, every DVD. Stole everything. Cause I was out of town. I was literally getting my deal.
Was the house in Wichita?
Yeah. I literally that's what made me get a new house. So I didn't get my crib that I lost at that time. I was in a totally different house, the house that Khalil was born in. And that like was the beginning. But when I lost my crib during the time of like me taking my break, and not only that, but like moving in with my girl's mom and like trying to make music in that setting, it was just all depressing. And I just feel like,
what year was this?
This was 2013.
So
that was 2013.
So this is why the break happened.
Yep. Possibly. And then 2014, when I'm making March Madness, I'm doing that hoping, to find some kind of like some ground. But like I said, a lot of the miscarriages we went through, it made me feel similar to the music. Man. Like I'm trying to hit this mark. I'm trying to grow something, and it keeps on getting stopped.
I had no idea that it was you guys were dealing with that.
Yeah, and that's literally
is it still to this day. Like, is she able to?
Yeah, we've been like
IVF or anything like that.
We thought about it, and we thought about like we've definitely done like all of the doctor visits and all of that. Right. But it just gets to a point where, like I said, giving up song was real. Like I was like, I'm giving up. I'm giving up.
I just thought it was about music. I had no idea.
I did that on purpose. You know what I mean? If you go back and listen to it, and you hear. Like, in fact, when I first wrote it, I sent it to Freddie. I didn't even think I was going to put it out. I didn't make that song to put out. That wasn't a song. That was I'm crying in the bathroom, and I reverted back to my old ways of like, how do I get these emotions out? And literally wrote that song in 15 minutes. I was on the toilet. I texted Germ and we're like, yo, can you send me a pack? And he sent me that in that pack with like, a few songs from some projects some shit I put out on Squarian Radio, but that was the one I heard that dun, 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 and I was like, oh my! When it started, I created everything.
And that Forest Green track with the Colors track that's on there, what's it called? Mm-hmm. What's the one about the? I can't even think of the name of the track. It's on the EP.
Yes.
It's Colors. Is it called?
I Need Color.
I Need Color. Yeah.
I Need Color,
bro.
Both of those songs are.
I Wish I Could Color.
Pair. I Wish I Could. Yep.
Do you still remember that?
Oh yeah, 40 Days, 40 Nights.
What's bro? I would say, bro, like when you rapped on that NERD beat, what was it?
Turner,
Baby Back, I think it was called, or it's something. It's that first. It's on the NERD's In Search Of, but it's just like
Recycle Bin. Is it a song on Recycle Bin?
It's on. It might be, but I think it's on 40 Day, 40 Nights. But it was around that time though.
Oh,
you rapped on the NERD beat on the In Search Of.
Yep.
I can't even remember the name of the song.
You're talking about the first song on 40 Days 40, or the first or last song.
One or the other. I think it might be the first.
Hey, dun 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 dun.
Yep. Because I remember Bryce, he would listen to NERD and John Mayer, and I'm just like,
wow.
Like he
has my birthday.
Your birthday. What? And he would play this stuff like going to school. I'm like, bro, like what the fuck are you listening to? Like I would be like, why are you listening to? I felt very uncomfortable. But when he told me like it was for real, I was like,
bruh,
really? I was like, so it was like a bridge. And then when I heard you rap on it, bro, I was like, I'm about to start listening to other genres of music.
You ever heard of a dude named Kenna? Kenna.
Kenna.
I'm gonna put you on right now. Kenna. If you didn't know about Nerd, then you should go listen to Kenna's album today. It came out.
Text me that.
It came out in 2008, I believe. Pharrell produced the whole album.
Oh.
Okay. And
yeah, because Neptunes, bro, like
came out in 2007.
You know they're
Make Sure
now.
They See My Face. Yeah, they are. And I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Because is it like
just different personalities?
What is
Aries and Pisces? I have a whole chapter on them. That's 2088. That's Janae and Big Sean.
Are they still? They're not together anymore.
Yeah.
They're still together?
Yeah. Huh? Aries and Pisces.
Are they still together, Big Sean and Janae?
Right now.
Because I know like right?
Yeah. Because they're not married.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have a kid.
Because I was listening to the track, like I remember you say like Boundaries on the Big Sean album.
Yes,
so I'm thinking
exactly, right?
Like what do you think of this? Like me and my homie, we like we're with Bryce, we talk about Big Sean, but it's like he doesn't have like a song that sticks. Mm-hmm. Like it's like, and I feel like, because I like Big Sean, but it's just like it doesn't, and like we were trying to figure out like maybe it's just because he doesn't have like a go-to producer, or it's like it doesn't have like it's just kind of like, it's like, what's your favorite Big Sean song?
You need to holla at Key Wayne and just lock in and do the whole project with Key Wayne. Aries and Cancer, House Party. I promise you.
Because he's like kind of like Nicki Minaj, kind of more like go here. But like,
I think that Big Sean deals with the same thing that a lot of Midwest artists deal with, which is not having a core sound, right? Like a lot of Midwest artists, it's why I think Tech Nine is so big, being from the Midwest, because he created this core sound and never left it. And was like, that's it. This is me. Boom. Right? Big Sean, because of him wanting success, had to go search.
Try to go to Atlanta.
Yep.
LA,
yep. I mean,
because even like his biggest track, like I don't give a I don't F with you.
I don't fuck with you.
Yeah, right. That was like a West Coast.
That's the West Coast. That's Drake, DJ Mustard, E40. You feel me?
Right.
That's LA. Right. You were living in LA when you made that record. You were thinking LA when you made that record. You were thinking LA radio. You were thinking LA people. You were thinking LA sun. That's not Detroit. You know what I mean? And so I think that a little bit of it is coming from doing what you think people want you to do rather than doing what you want to do. And sometimes it's doing what those motherfucking people want for you. You know?
The label.
I feel like Drake, Kendrick, Cole, the big three are the big three because they don't do that. And the big three that I grew up on, the Jay, Nas, 50, whoever you want to throw that other person in there, right? They didn't do what the labels wanted them to. In fact, when I used to beef about Jay, that's what I beefed about the most. It's like, people be like, he's just a radio rapper. I'm like, what? I would argue that he wasn't a radio rapper.
No, absolutely not.
You know, and then Jay-Z's first number one being Empire State of Mind proved that. Jay-Z never had a number one hit. Never. B.O.B. has more number ones
than
right?
Jay-Z.
Like a number one record is hard. Kendrick has a few of them. Jay-Z had Empire State of Mind. That's how I knew, like, Jay-Z makes club records, but he's from New York. Cheetahs on Sundays. You know what I mean? Like, bubbling and doubling. Feel me? He's popping bottles. He came up on the yachts. He came up from feeling it. You know? I take another puff and leave that weed alone, man. It got me going. He came up on that, like, I'm cool. But he's a like that worldly man, like a president, like a Truman. Sure. You know what I mean? Like he's the dude jumping on the jet, putting the peace sign up.
Right, Jay-Z.
And he gives that aura. So his music's gonna have that mainstream
Absolutely.
appeal. But Nas, I feel like he won without having to do a breakthrough hit. Right. Or no, I won't say breakthrough hit because he had breakthrough hits, but I mean not having to do what others do. You know what I mean?
Kind of like Fabulous.
Like Fab, yes. Do you think Big Sean's like kind of like Fab?
That's what Joe Budden said. Or somebody on the podcast said Big Sean's but then again, Joe Budden said like
all the way.
Fab had that pocket where he could have the lady tracks. Big Sean ain't got.
He don't have a pocket.
He tries
at
to.
All.
Right, and that's what me and Bryce were saying.
Like at all.
He doesn't have
like even me. Like I try a radio record. I can always go back and get on my nerd shit. I can always go back and get on my straight up alternative hip hop shit.
Bro, I like my favorite XV is like when you were rapping like the Clavin Harris.
Yes,
Zoot
that's my favorite too.
Like,
so you're gonna love the new album, Old Enough to Party. You're gonna love the new album.
Square in the Circle, like that Edie, like that. Like, what would you call that? Like that XV phase, that Square in the Circle.
Squarian. Squarian. That's a new album. Bro. Me and Seven are literally working on our new album. Bro, we do
the Kid in the Green Backpack, like that.
Yeah, Kid in the Green Backpack, all of that.
The
color.
alternative.
It's that color. Yes. That's what me and Seven, we look at it like color, bro. Like that color, that pink, blue.
What color is pink,
orange.
Blue?
Yeah,
like
pink,
that
blue,
was my favorite. Purple. Like kind of like XV, like even like with Drake, like people have like the phases of Drake or like Kanye. Like, well, I remember the first hearing Kanye rap on a trap beat was like Ham.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like this.
I don't like this Kanye. And
I was like,
now we're getting him fully. He is fully.
He's coming back?
Yeah. Like,
have you ever met Kanye?
Nah, never. I met all of his people. Damn. Every single person.
Kid Cudi, Common. You met him in the airport.
Yep.
Consequence. You had that interview with him in Vegas, right?
Slept in the hotel with Consequence. We were bundled up telling each other hip hop stories.
Where was Kanye at during that time? On tour. 808s.
On a tour. Like, out of here.
They can't slide any tracks to Kanye for you?
I have some Kanye beats. I got some Kanye beats. If you go back and listen to 40 Days, 40 Nights.
Keep Your Grin Up sound like a Kanye beat.
Good. We were going for that. Good.
It sound like a Kanye.
Go listen. I have a song called Nobody. Nobody said that I wouldn't blow. No, everybody. I'm sorry. Everybody said that I wouldn't blow. Everybody said that I couldn't flow. Everybody that. Everybody said. That's a Kanye beat, and it's an actual Kanye beat. I got that from Bump J's sister.
Where do we find this at?
40 Days, 40 Nights. 40 Days, 40 Nights. It's called Everybody. Produced by Kanye West.
Who was that? Carmen Sandiego, bro.
Carmen Sandiego. That's who is that? Nerd?
Who did that beat?
Who is that?
I think that's Neptune.
Is that Nerd?
I'm Carmen Sandiego.
There you go. With Harlow's Cash on it.
Bro, that track is hard.
Yeah.
But 40 Days, 40 Nights. Because you released the song every day, every night.
Yeah.
Bro, that was the time when you were pushing out music. Because, like, it was a time when it just felt like
I can't lose. I couldn't.
Bro, I can't lose. Are we ever going to get that? Like, actually just pushing out?
I don't know, man.
There was so much tracks. It was like.
I feel like the game would eat it up now because I feel like we're in such a consumerism, quick here today, gone tomorrow type vibe, which is what the 40 Days, 40 Nights was for. Because I was like, if I want to stay on blogs, I need to drop a song every day and every night so people can't miss me. That's how I looked at it. But now I look at it like if I was dropping a reel of me rapping every day,
every night,
I don't know.
Would it be the same?
I don't feel like it would do the same. I feel like that the consumer is so overwhelmed with so much content. I know. Like I go to work and I'll talk to the homie like, yo, have you watched these movies? And they're like, nah, I haven't watched them yet. And I'll be like, yo, watch them, bro. And then I'll see them next week. I'm like, yo, have you watched them? Like, nah.
It's so much.
It's so much.
Like sometimes, even last night, I was telling Ness, I was like, man, I miss being able to flip through channels because now I gotta find something. I just wish it was there. Like that's my favorite. I like going to like the older hotels.
Yes,
where you can just flip through.
So bro. That's how I know you be traveling. That's how I know you be traveling. I love hotels. Bro, we're going to Paris next week. I'm literally looking like, look. Well, I'm not getting on Airbnb. I don't know about Paris, what they do have against TVs, but all the Airbnbs, they were like, no TV, no TV, no TV. I'm like, yo, I don't know. Give a fuck. Crazy. It has to have a TV. I know we're not going to be in there long, but I'm the person who walks in. It's a tour tradition. I walk in, I turn my TV on. Right? I don't even turn a light on before I turn on my hotel TV. Because I can't wait to not only flip through channels, but see like remember like the numbers of different cities.
Yeah, like the TV.
Like what's BT?
Like what's Cartoon Network?
What Cartoon Network on? Oh, wait, 57?
That's crazy, man. But nowadays you can't do that because you gotta go find something.
Find it. So I feel like people are overwhelmed with looking. They tired of looking. They tired of looking.
But it's even like that for like single people with the dating scene.
Right. Overwhelmed. Tired of looking. Damn. You ain't never lied.
Like that's serious.
For real.
Online dating is ridiculous.
Bro,
it's messed up the dating community.
I can feel it because I have homegirls that are out there trying, and I have homeboys who are youngins. Like my boy 23 years old, and that whole dating scene is just so crazy.
It's so oversaturated. It's just like the hip hop. It's because of technology.
There you go.
It's too much.
I think everything is oversaturated. And I think everything comes with
it'll be like a wipe, like an internet wipe. That's my biggest fear.
That's crazy.
I shouldn't even say that, but I feel like it could.
So I don't know if I talked to you about this before, like, you know, at the crib, but that's why, like, when you talk about all the hip hop albums, that's why I do all that. That's where that comes from. Is I do feel like
a doomsday.
I do feel that way. I feel I'm
like you're a doomsday prepper, but for hip hop.
Yeah, for hip hop. I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to all of these. I have so like many
library of Alexandria or something.
I'm gonna tell you this. I have libraries of unreleased music from most artists. I have a Kanye library. Bro, my Kanye library of unreleased music is crazy.
Kanye?
Kendrick.
Well, how do you have these unreleased
Drake.
tracks?
All right, so remember you asked me how did I get all the Little John beats and all that?
Right.
A&Rs, right? Another thing I used to do, you know, I wouldn't say this if I haven't been. Yeah, I used to hack. I used to go in back channels.
You would hack
FTPs.
A&Rs?
Yeah, FTPs. I would just check securities of studios, like studios websites.
So
like
hold
Wi-Fi.
on. So like you would like hack like
their FTP server. Like I would find, like, put it like this. I would see, all right, Kanye has this site and he's putting this stuff on there. He has to be putting that into a directory in order for us to get it. You get what I'm saying? So that directory is an index on his HTTP. If I can get into the HTTP, I can get to that index. I'm not trying to adjust the site. I'm just trying to get into the index of that because there's probably files that they don't have that they're not using. You get what I'm saying? So put it like this. I'm a website designer at the time. So I'm thinking how many songs I've uploaded to my server, but I'm not putting them up on my site. They're on my server so that I can send it to Trey. You feel me? Because at this time, it's not like ways to just send.
So it's like almost like a Google Drive or something?
It's like a Google Drive.
So
that's
you
the
would
best
tap
way to
into
explain
you would tap into
That's
the
the
studio.
best way to explain it.
You would tap into like I don't know,
websites,
like Studio One,
studios, everything's back directory,
and you would find unreleased music, beats.
So pretty much one day I did that, and I got into a back directory of, I ain't gonna say an engineer, but it was a big engineer, huge, like huge.
Could you get like a?
And I got all of his. He had basically all these beats: Little John, Scott Storch, Midi Mafia, Pharrell, beats, literal like unfinished, finished. Some of them like I Timbaland, because the beats that Timbaland played for Jay during Fade to Black, I had all those.
Before the Fade to Black?
Yep, I had all of those. Bro.
Could that be like, could you get a charge?
Back then?
Yeah.
No. But now, yes, because they couldn't find it. There was no metadata to connect it to.
Really
so think about it. Now, I can do that. I can put it through a back channel and I can synchronize it with the audio and put it into the Library of Congress and copyright it right now. All of that right now. I can do that without it coming out. So if somebody does try to play and put it out on streaming will recognize this is already somebody else's. Somebody already copyrighted this audio right. Because there's a database now. Wow. There was no database
back then. Damn.
So there's nothing to even log this song that I'm taking these unless Scott Storch, and that did happen. Don't get me wrong. 88 Keys came and found me. 88 Keys.
Because you rapped on one of his beats.
Yeah, but we became friends after that.
What? Because this is how you met Seven, right?
Yeah, that's how I met Seven. I rapped on one of his beats.
Did you do like the tech stuff for that?
His was actually a CD that I got in the studio.
This is crazy, man. You need like a whole TV series,
but
bro.
No, for
because
real.
This would be like this. I'm just picturing like a hacker, like a nerd, but like,
yeah,
bro. This would be like a whole like Hulu.
I got into the whole like when I say, man, I was doing things that definitely.
This is like some Kim Possible, like Wade kind of stuff, but like.
But I'll say this: it wasn't. For me, in my opinion, it wasn't irregular because I learned these techniques from people online. So I learned these techniques from like people on MySpace, not MySpace, but it was like mp3.com forums. Really, it was really forums. Boxed In, my forum, Nike Talk was huge back then.
But see, now if you try to do that now,
what?
It ain't gonna work.
Not even close.
Do you utilize ChatGPT?
What ChatGPT?
Do you know character AI?
Yep, I love character AI. I use character AI actually for I'm working on an EPK, and I was like, wow. So back in my other EPK days,
like a electronic press kit.
Yeah, Mike used to be the back in the day, XV was the.
But now it's smart. I thought about doing that for like the intro.
Come on,
bro, that's crazy because you could get Morgan Freeman to go.
I'm doing that for my whole EPK.
What was the EPK you did with the it was like the Planet Square? You had the hat. Where was that one at?
That was all. It was a colorful one, right?
Yeah, it's like you had a purple hat.
Yep, it was the
with the orange background, the action figures and all that.
Yep. That was all here, but we did all of that. Like that was me really getting into, like, getting on a major recording deal. Like that's my whole idea for that was, how can I
get a deal?
That
was how it always, and that's what you regret.
That's all I cared about.
What do you think you would have done like now, like if you had to go back to 2008?
Well, I feel like I would have changed my team. Not changed my team, but I would have waited to have a team. I would have waited to accumulate. Like so many people were just like don't rush. They're gonna be there. And I was like, nah, they ain't. And so I was like, let's get it now. But at the same time, I looked at like they were right. Like, especially when I think about now, and I think about my career now, I think about the opportunities and the like the possibilities that are still there. I'm like, nah, I can still get it. Back then, I felt like it was, I have to get it now. You know what I mean? And so it changed the way I moved. I did things I normally wouldn't do because it was like, nah, I gotta get it now. And that was my reasoning. Even if somebody had a better reason for why not to, I felt like, but I gotta get it now.
Right now.
That superseded anything anybody else could say. So that I feel like, you know, people be like, yo, you are one of the most patient people I know. And not just patient like with people, but like patient. You know what I mean? Like I not only honor patience and love patience, but like my mom said, like I get annoyed with impatience.
You get annoyed with impatience?
Yeah. She was like, I feel like you get annoyed. You're so patient that you get annoyed with impatience. I'm like, yeah, I do because impatient people annoy me. Because I understand patience.
Wow.
And it's a virtue for a reason.
That's why you don't be texting back.
It is, because you're going to wait. You're going to wait.
I know that's what Robbie be like, man, I text. I'm just like, bro, he ain't going to text back.
Because you're going to be patient. Just like I'm being patient.
What would you say for that? Because I know there's like so many people who would say like, man, X-Men don't be extra this and that.
Hoffa. I've been
Where's Don Hoffa come from? Is that a movie?
Hoffa since I was 6 years old.
Wait, is that a movie? Where's that from?
Jimmy Hoffa.
What's Jimmy Hoffa? Like, who is he?
Jimmy Hoffa was a Teamster, you know, like a union rep, but he was in like basically got himself in with the mafia and fucked with the mafia. That's where the idea of it came from. My homie calling me Hoffa because I was a square.
Okay.
And I was very like value system driven.
Right. Which
is square. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I was out in the streets. But I'd never answer my phone. Ever. And this is when I'm a kid, so I don't answer my house phone. So like they're like, yo, you don't answer your phone, because I told them I'd be home between 3:00 and 4:30 by myself. Hit me anytime. But I never would answer.
Was it because you were busy or
no? I just was antisocial. I was just very antisocial. That's why I didn't answer a thing.
It was like anxiety?
Just antisocial. Yeah. Like doing other things but antisocial. You know what I mean? Like literally.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk on the phone. So I'm anti. I'll talk to you in person, but I don't want to talk on the phone. And so my friend would call me.
That's how kids are now, though. They don't talk on the phone.
They are. I get it. So I get it. I definitely
I'll try to call my nephew. Like, it's like, what's the emergency?
What's the emergency? Like, what are you doing? You just want to check on me? What?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I got the name Hoffa because if you remember, Jimmy Hoffa disappeared.
Right.
And so
Carmen Sandiego, like, where did he go? Okay.
The joke always was, here's Hoffa. Like, we found Hoffa. Like, whenever they would see me.
Oh, that's how it was. Because I remember the first time I saw you was at the mall. It was like across the way, and I saw you and Kashia.
See?
I was like, that's me.
I've never seen him. That's
I've never seen him. And then the next time I saw you was at the Hartman Arena.
That's years later, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm just like, there you go again.
There you go again. Hoffa. So that's where Don Hoffa came from, because he was like, I'll find Hoffa before I find you. Don Hoffa. And everybody like started cracking up. And they were like, Hoffa, that's Hoffa. And so from that point on, they'd be like, Hoff. And then Jay-Z had I guess they called Biggs, Kareem Biggs Hoffa. And so the fact that they called Biggs Hoffa, and I had a friend named Kareem, they like linked it as my name. They were like, that's Hoffa. That's Hoffa.
And then Don for Don.
And then Don, yeah. Don Hoffa.
Don Hoffa.
And so it was like low-key like my homie name. But as I got older, I still never answered the phone. Especially once like cell phones came out. Never. And so it like
for the same reason.
Yeah.
Because I remember like my nickname. Like The Weeknd, he said he doesn't do interviews because he likes the kind of the mystery. Is that kind of what it is?
Nah. Because
I'm not gonna lie, it made me honestly want to listen to the music more.
That's fire. It
honestly did, because I always said, like, I remember when we would rap.
That's crazy.
When we would rap, this one dude, he was like, bro, like this music is dope, but like I know y'all. He's like, this feels weird listening to
weird
it. He's like, this is dope, but I know y'all.
Yep.
Like I got Fifth Hour with y'all.
Exactly. Take away that.
And that was like a mystery. And so I feel like that's what you did. It's like, man, who's this dude? Like,
yeah. Where is he? I remember when I did the J.Cole interview with DJ Enough, it was a chat back then. And so like that interview happened live. You know what I mean? That freestyle, it was actually an interview. And then after the interview, they were like, yo, you want a freestyle?
Where's the interview at? Where did we find the interview?
Don't know. I would love to find it.
Remember when J.Cole told you to write your raps before? Let's talk about that because I thought J.Cole was freestyling.
Nah. Right when we got done, I was like, you should have told me you were gonna do verses. I was like, I was freestyling. He was like, I could tell. And I was like, so like, what's the deal? Like you always have verses? He was like, 3. I go in, no matter what interview I do, I got a cool 3.
That's what J. Cole said.
Yep, every time. He like, sometimes it's the same one. That's how you end up with the game. Red Lambo. You know what I mean? You might have the same one and think that the interviews aren't going to go out like that. But J. Cole told me, like, always keep 3. And
three written verses.
3 written verses. Yeah. Dang. Keep them on you.
How do you feel about that, though? Because
I don't like it. I don't like it. I've seen...
Because you was going off of DJ Enough's like, sure, the
I've
X-Men.
Seen Common. I've seen too many greats rap, Mos Def, like, and no, I need to have that in me. I've seen too many for me not to be like, bro, I gotta push myself.
Did you feel like different when J. Cole told you that?
Oh yeah, I felt like he's right. He's right. And I'll tell you what, you go watch my freestyles after that. Go watch CDR Distribution. I did this. It was called Crack Distribution Radio, CDR. Crazy, right?
Is it the same for the one on the new album?
No. I'm saying the podcast. This was a podcast I did back in the day called Crack Distribution Radio, but it stood for It was called CDR. I was like, it's a dope ass title.
It is dope.
So I did a freestyle on there. Maybe a week later, you could tell by how I look. It's still on the internet. Watch that one. I'm rapping my fucking ass off because I have those 3 verses.
Damn.
I did another DJ Enough freestyle a year later for Vizzy Zone. No J. Cole. Had my 3 then.
Yeah.
So it definitely taught me. You know what I mean? But as I got older, especially once I got older, I felt like, because there would be times where people would run into me in public and be like we would end up talking. They'd be like, yo, you want to spit something?
Right.
And because I was taking a break,
I used to hate that.
Yeah.
It's like almost like a comedian, like,
yes,
tell us a joke.
Just like it.
Remember Sorry to Bother You?
It's just like that. Yes, it's just like that.
Why didn't J. Cole get on Smallville, man? Because he made the beat, the Smashing Pumpkin sample, right?
I feel like J. Cole at that time just wasn't doing features.
Did you ask him like
100 times? What? We were trying to do a whole project. Right. But I feel like he wasn't doing features. The reason why I say that is because of his feature run recent. And I remember back then, Mark Pitts, which is his A&R to this day, told him, no rap features. That's how you become big. And it's the same way that
no rap. So his A&R said, don't.
No, yeah. Miguel, Jasmine Sullivan, Melanie Fiona, this is what we're gonna get you. We ain't gonna get you with Little XV. We're gonna get you with Jeremiah. We're gonna get you with. Go look at his features.
But why couldn't he just do the track and then not put it on his stuff? Just
those are for them. Those are their songs. That's
he
Melanie
couldn't just
Fiona's
bless you with the verse.
Nope.
It's like the politics, or
it's politics.
Is it legal, like a legality or something?
It's not even a legality, but you are owned by them. Like I have to still clear it through Rock Nation, no matter what. Same with Jack. That's why I don't stress trying to get a verse from Jack Harlow,
because he can't. So that's why I didn't
do
release
it all he wants. It didn't release it. I could have released it. He gave me clearance. I didn't release it out of respect because he was like, I just don't like my verse no more. And I was like, that's fair. You can outgrow things. You young. And so
I needed that Jack Harlow track, bro.
Yeah, that track crazy too. I ain't gonna hold you. That shit crazy.
That Jack Harlow, bro. Release that.
That's crazy. Y'all want that shit?
Yeah.
Y'all want that shit?
Release that Jack Harlow, bro.
I got you.
That's crazy, bro, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show, bro. There's so many more topics I would love to be able to cover, man.
Like, I think that we did great. I appreciate you not only being knowledgeable about me and being a fan of me, but using that knowledge to kind of share my story with others, because I feel like that's the main reason I wanted to do this interview.
Absolutely.
And do this show with you, because when you did the interview with Janae, Janae brought up who I worked with, and she said, has he did something with Nipsey Hussle? And he met Nipsey Hussle. He played Nipsey Hussle playing Squarea. Right. That right there, I was like, oh, I'm doing Chris's podcast next.
Yeah. Because you did play the track.
I know, but the fact that you not only intellectualized what y'all were talking about and gave this super dope context to it, but you also informed not only her, but others. And I was like, I need to do a podcast with you, especially with The Blog Era is Dead. Man. And I'm dropping my EPK, so I hope you don't mind. I'm using a few of these clips, bro. Yeah, on my EPK, because I appreciate. I feel like as everywhere we go with our dialogue, it's an open dialogue. Absolutely. That I feel like the conversation and the people listening and the people who are trying to take things from it, they can get more. You know what I mean? They can like be indulged by so much, like with so much depth and richness, and then sprinkle a little flavor on it, and you got a few like sugary things in there to make it like sweeten up, but the meat and potatoes of it is so like vast and so much that you're like, yo, I didn't know XV. I mean, even the Hoffa stuff, like even you like, like knowing so that I don't answer the phone, like that's my like just knowing that informativeness of for my fans and for people who don't know me. Like I said, this new album is a new journey. This new journey is a new era. This new era is a new beginning, and this new beginning has new opportunities.
And there's Big Sean on there too.
Yeah, you said that. You caught that. You caught that, huh?
Was that real?
Yeah,
that was Big Sean.
Yes, man. Yeah,
because I didn't know if it was from like an interview with him just talking.
No, that is from his NPR. That's from his NPR.
I didn't know like if you guys reached out, but that's just from
I did reach out and got clearance from it. I got clearance from Mr. Sean Anderson. Yeah, I got clearance from Mr. Sean Anderson.
You texted him?
Yeah. I just sent him the album and was just like,
what do you think?
I'll just tell you this.
We need another Big Sean track, bro.
I agree. I feel like the Blog Era, Dom Kennedy dropped the same day as me. Dom Kennedy's from the Blog Era. He dropped the album out of nowhere. He didn't promote it. Nothing. Just dropped it like it was the Blog Era.
Bro, I didn't even know Q-Tip and LL dropped the album, bro.
What was fired? The Force. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. LL Cool J's rapping his ass off on that. And that's for y'all motherfuckers who think that you can't continue rapping at an older age.
Exactly.
That is really fun, because he's rapping his ass off.
Man,
that's record Murdergram. Crazy.
That's the one Eminem, right?
Yeah, the record with is it Tiana Taylor? Who is it? Yeah, the record with a singer that's really Sweetie. That record with Sweetie, crazy.
Yeah, bro.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, bro. But yeah, once again, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
We're gonna do this again.
We will.
We're gonna do this again. Let's like how you did with Kendrick. You kept on shaking.
Yeah,
we're gonna do this.
Lock me in. Lock me in. Lock me in. Yeah.
That is crazy, bro. He gonna be at the Super Bowl too, bro. So man, there's just so much I would even like want to be able to say on that. Like, it's just like to be able to give you your flowers, bro. Like it's just an inspiration to be able to have somebody like you that is from here, that looks like us, that looks like me, to be able to make the music, be able to make the beats. Like it just was like crazy. Like, who is this guy? And then like I remember that song Shades of Grey, bro. Like that track. That track helped me up.
Yes,
that track helped me throughout my depression. Bro. Like that track was.
I made that right after my grandma died. I made that right after she passed away.
That track is a beautiful track, bro. Like it just, hits so many emotions. Like another favorite track, bro, is 3x5.
Oh, Postcards and 3x5s.
Who's the artist?
3x5s and Postcards.
What's the sound?
Radiohead.
What were you trying to say exactly? What's your point of view, like
of 3x5s and Postcards? Basically, I was like, y'all aren't going to hear from me.
The Don Hoffa stuff.
Yeah, other than 3x5s and Postcards.
Because you going away.
Because I'm going away. Like, I'm about to be on the road. So I'm going to be sending you pictures and postcards of where I go. You're going to have to see it from there now.
Were you playing Mass Effect when you made that album?
No, I was playing a lot of Rock Band.
Do you still play video games?
Oh, yeah. We actually just got Dragon Ball. Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh, bro.
I don't.
I can tell because not in the music as much.
Yeah, there you go. It's everything.
Music.
Yeah, it's everything. But I do want to play the new Mass Effect that's about to come out.
What?
Yeah, they're making a new Mass Effect right now. Massive. The new Dragon Ball Super.
Is it? What is that? Is it like a open world?
The Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah. We're gonna talk about the Dragon Ball. I'm gonna show you after.
I'm gonna show you the Dune too after this, bro.
Oh yeah, you gotta show me the Dune.
Yeah, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Mass Effect, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I played Mass Effect. When I first played, I didn't like it, but I remember hearing you talk about it on the track. I was like, I'm gonna give it another try.
Oh
This is one of my favorite games.
Oh yeah.
But Uncharted is
You never played Mass Effect until then?
Yeah. Lost. You put me on so much stuff.
So let me put you up on Dragon Ball Z, Spark and Z. So you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
Oh yeah, bro.
Okay, then you're gonna
That's the only anime I ever liked.
Then you're gonna love it because Spark and Zero is kind of like. Did you ever play Budokai at all? It's just like it.
PS2. That was
PS2.
That's the best Dragon Ball Z to me.
This is the one.
This is the one. You're gonna make me get a PS.
Spark and Zero. You can go get it right now. Go get it right now. I promise you. I'm on it. Yeah, I haven't played the game since Harry Potter. Hogwarts.
Does your son be playing with you?
What?
Does your son want to rap?
He got to rap. He does want to rap a little bit. He more Playboy Cardi. I'm taking him to Rolling Loud this year. 10-year anniversary.
How does that feel?
Yeah, I'm taking him to Rolling Loud. I'm taking my son to Rolling Loud to see Playboy Cardi and Homicide Gang.
Does his friends know like oh yeah, you gotta rap?
Oh yeah. That ain't nothing, man. You
should get a song with Playboy Cardi for his birthday.
I am going to introduce him to him.
Yeah, have you met him?
I don't know him, but I know his people.
He's so tall.
No, for real. Because he wear those heels.
But like his sound like switched.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
The new sound fire though. Yeah. I ain't gonna hold you.
It's like his voice is like deeper.
Yeah.
It kind of like I was like, who's this? Definitely, man. Yeah. But we're gonna get out of here for now, man. This has been the Fully Connected Podcast. Once again, make sure you smash the subscribe button. Please. Follow XV, Please. X to the V, anywhere. Spotify,
Definitely
Instagram,
on Spotify. Follow your boy.
Spotify, man. Make sure you guys follow him. So, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys made it this far, man, you guys are definitely a day one as well. So,
hey, mad love.
So we're gonna sign out, man. Peace. Stay fully connected. All right, man. Hey.
It's real, bro. That's great. Fully connected.